Welcome to Goodison. How many more times will we be able to say that as Everton play for the second time since the return of David Moyes, looking to end a run of 3 straight Premier League defeats without scoring a goal. They host the Tottenham side, whose poor league form is highlighted by the fact that they start today 15th in the table, having lost 4 of their last 5, and Postecoglou makes 2 changes from the side that started the North London derby defeat at Arsenal on Wednesday, as Ben Davies and James Maddison come in for the injured Yves Bissouma and Dominic Solanke. Timo Werner and Brennan Johnson have joined a lengthy looking injury list too. Everton also make 2 changes as Jake O'Brien comes in for his first Premier League start. Jesper Lindstrom starts as well. Ashley Young and Jack Harrison are the 2 to make way by dropping to the bench. So much to talk about when it comes to these 2 teams at the moment. So much to dissect when it comes to that team news. There is the siren. The teams are in the tunnel. The sound of Z-Cars plays on the loudspeaker here as Everton and Spurs emerge from the tunnel down below us with the yellow Premier League ball on the plinth, the Premier League logo on the halfway line. Here they are, led out by referee Darren England. It is 16th, hosting 15th. Stephen Kelly is with me. I think that last stat there, the league positions, say it all.
Yeah, absolutely does. And both of these teams facing the wrong way. Everton have been in this situation for the last few seasons. So bringing David Moyes back to try and steady the ship, get them established as a comfortable Premier League side again, and before they go into the new stadium. But then Tottenham, where do we begin? Teams are so positive, look so good with this attacking style and brand of football, but they look so vulnerable at the moment with the players they're missing in the back. They're missing the goalkeeper, the left back, the 2 centre backs. So, they're not with the starting back 4 as they'd like, but they have to be able to adjust. You have to be able to deal with those situations, and Tottenham haven't been able to. They've lost so many games this season from winning positions as well. So it's a matter of these 2 teams are desperately want to win today.
With Spurs, before we go through the 2 lineups, is it as simple as saying too many injuries, or is it something else? Because when you look at the form in the Cups, 9th in the Europa League out of 36 teams, and they're 1 win off going 5th in the Europa League. They're through to the 4th round of the FA Cup, leading Liverpool 1-0 after the first leg of the League Cup semi-finals. Everything else is going all right until you look at the Premier League table.
Yeah, it is going okay, and on their day in a cup competition, Tottenham are capable of beating anything. They really are. But in the Premier League at the moment, they're struggling to keep clean sheets. They're struggling to keep teams out, and I think it's a combination of everything. The players that are missing are absolutely instrumental into the way they want to play, but they haven't changed the way they want to play with the players that have come in, and I'm not sure you can always keep with what you want with the players you have. And at the moment, Ange is not the manager that wants to adjust. He doesn't want to change, and that I have to give credit for that. But I think it causes them problems at times because of their high line, because how vulnerable they are at the back. Without having the pace of Van de Ven and the aggression of Romero, they miss those players.
2 captains just going into the centre circle for the pre-match photos and the coin toss here to run through the Everton lineup. They're going to go 4-5-1 in front of goalkeeper Jordan Pickford. The back 4 from right to left. We've already mentioned Jake O'Brien making his first Premier League start, only his 4th Premier League appearance since joining from Lyon in the summer. He's at right back. James Tarkowski and Jared Branthwaite, the 2 centre halves, with Vitaly Mikalenko at left back. The 3 in the centre of the Everton midfield: Idris Gueye, Abdoulaye Doucouré and Oral Mangala. Iliman Ndiaye will play down the left, Jesper Lindstrom down the right, the main striker Dominic Calvert-Lewin. The thing that's caught your eye out of that entire Everton team selection, with your Republic of Ireland hat on, is that Jake O'Brien is starting in the unfamiliar role for him of right back.
Yeah, we are joking off air. This is a straight Stoke decision, 6'5" right back. Listen, Jake O'Brien, I've got to watch him a lot over the last few years, playing under 21s for Ireland, drafted on the senior team. He's had a great time in France with Lyon, and now he's Everton. He hasn't had a chance to really play that often, but his first game, his first start is going to be at right back in an unfamiliar position to him. But listen, he's an adaptable player. He's good in the ball. He's going to offer him a threat in the forward areas as well from set plays, which is something Everton want to do. It's going to be a tough game up against Heung-min Son, I would have felt.
It is going to be Everton to get us started here. They're defending the Gladys Street end in this first half as we look at things, kicking from left to right. And as we look at the Tottenham team, as Mangala gets this game started, it's Stephen Kelly and Lee Blakeman with you, by the way. Everton against Spurs here on 5 Sports Extra from the BBC. Are Tottenham playing with a back 3?
They are. They absolutely are. It was so hard because you were wondering whether Everton were going to play back 3 with the personnel they have, and Tottenham, I fully expected Gray to go in the middle of the park, but no, Gray's in the back 3, right of it, Dragons in the middle, Davies to the left, and it's going to be Spence left wing back and Porro right wing back, which is very different for Ange and what he's done up to this point so far.
With Sarr and Bergvall in the midfield behind a very fluid looking front 3 of Dejan Kulusevski, Son Heung-min and James Maddison. We were also talking off air because there was a lot of debate here in the very tight press box at Goodison Park about would Ange be going with a back 3 when we looked at the team selection, and we were saying that is a radical move to go from the settled shape of a back 4, but I suppose when you've got that many injuries and your league form's as bad as theirs is, why not?
Yeah, well, it's a big change, and I was just literally speaking beforehand about how the players are missing, and the manager has been unwilling to adapt or change his style, but this maybe shows a slight change in that thinking for him, an adaptation, change of the style, change of the shape based on the personnel he has. And you know, they wouldn't have had long to work on this with the midweek game against Arsenal, so let's see if it pays off.
The ball is with Spurs down there right, inside their own half at the minute. Everton make a nuisance of themselves, and Idris Gueye wins a free kick in the midfield, just to the left of the centre circle. Just some signposting for you. If you're looking for commentary of Nottingham Forest against Southampton, that one's just got underway over on the BBC Sport website and app with Andy Reid and Charlie Slater, and Alistair Bruce Ball has got commentary of Manchester United Brighton over on 5 Live, where the 4:30 game later on should be a cracker at Portman Road between Ipswich Town and Manchester City. Everton, free kick, level with the edge of the centre circle, inside left, hit long to the edge of the area. Tarkowski wins the header, but Spurs will clear. It's back with Everton down their left, midway inside the Spurs half. Referee Darren England just monitoring things from the centre of the field. Ball goes out for a Spurs throw in what would normally be their right back area, to be taken by the man wearing shirt number 14, Archie Gray, only 18 years of age, being linked with Real Madrid. He's being given huge responsibility in this Tottenham team. Different position for him here this afternoon. Yeah,
it is. Listen, he's a player that they've found is adaptable. He's confident in the ball. He's comfortable in most positions he plays, and now he's in the right of a tree, which would suit him. Spence has got in on the left hand side here.
Spence picks the pockets of O'Brien. In goes the cross, and backtracking is Mangala to put the ball behind for the first corner of the game. It's come after 3 minutes, and it's gone the way of the visitors Spurs. That was good pressing by Spence down the left.
It was, yeah. Spence hyped the pitch, and this is the thing, the full-backs for Tottenham like to play high, even in a back 4, so now they're in wing-back positions. They can take that advantage on without worrying about the space left behind them, because you have that extra covering centre-back to come across.
Son to deliver. Gladys Street end, our view very much obscured by one of the famous pillars here that gets mentioned every single time any commentator does a game at Goodison Park. Corner goes in, Everton try and clear. They should do just about, and indeed they do. Good work that time by Illiman, and Jai gets his pockets picked though, and here comes Spurs again down their left this time with Kulusevski, who's up there making a nuisance of himself. Ball goes out for a Spurs throw. The Spurs press early on, causing Everton a few problems.
Yeah, great tackle from Bergvall, comes in really committed to, wins the ball back, and then Kulusevski on the left hand side, who, to be fair, Everton have worked well to get that not as a corner, it's just a throw in. Throw in
to be taken by Spence, about 6 yards from the corner flag. Good start this by out of form Spurs. Spence beats one, then turns away from O'Brien, runs into trouble, runs out of space. That's going to be a goal kick to be taken by Jordan Pickford. 4 games without a clean sheet in the Premier League, 30 years of age only. Jordan Pickford seems like he's been around forever.
Yeah, he has. That's because he has been around forever. He's been playing in the England team for such a long time, been to so many international tournaments. Listen, he's a great keeper. And how many times times has he kept Everton in games.
Here come Everton now on a charge with Branthwaite over halfway, inside left, closing in on the Spurs penalty area. Lively start at Goodison. Cross goes in from the left, looking for Decore, headed away by Spurs. Everton will settle for a throw on their left, which they're looking to take in a hurry in the form of Vitaly Mykolenko, and he does take it in a hurry as well. Goes back down the line to Gay in the midfield. Mangala takes over. Mykolenko still out there. Ball forwards to Decore, right on the byline. Decent defending that time by Bergvall, but Everton are able to keep hold of the ball. They go back to Branthwaite and they will build again from the back. This is the most drawn fixture in the history of the Premier League. Everton against Tottenham at Goodison. 17 of the 32 meetings have ended level. That ball goes forwards and behind for a goal kick to be taken by Antonin Kinski. The reason I mention that stat now is the way things have started in the opening 5. If this is going to finish level at the moment, you'd expect it to be a high scoring draw.
Yeah, it's been, both teams got into good positions early on, not being able to get decent quality into the box though from the wide areas. I think Mykolenko, you fancied Kavalin had just pulled off the far post and it gets intercepted by Dragons, and you want him to lift that a little bit more, but you know, there's been a lot of final third entries from both these teams so far.
Throw in Spurs on their left, midway inside their own half. Spurs in their traditional home colours, Everton in their traditional home colours. With this being at Goodison, Spurs have lost it. Here's Mangala, shifts the ball to the left. Lindstrom might fancy a shot, does fancy a shot, and that's a good save by Kinski. I was wondering if Lindstrom was going to take that shot on or if he was going to move it sideways. He took it on himself. Excellent save away to his right by Kinski to pour the ball behind for a corner.
Yeah, it's a great shot back inside. Use the runner on the outside to draw the full back away. Comes back in and he catches this really well. It's flying into that far corner. And Kimsky gets across and a good strong hand to it.
It's going to be an in-swinging Everton corner from their left, where that big scoreboard is in that corner in front of the travelling Spurs contingent. Great save that by Kinski. First save of the game made by either goalkeeper, flying away to his right. Good palm on that to pour it behind for this corner, delaying it being taken because Darren England's just having a word with a few players inside the 6 yards area. That normally means the corner will get swung in and he will blow for a free kick. We'll wait and see. Early goal at Old Trafford and Brighton have the lead. Manchester United 0, Brighton 1. Minte with the goal after 5 minutes. Commentary of that with Alistair Bruce Bull over on 5 Live as we still wait for this corner to be sent in here. What is Darren England talking about here? Is there an issue off the field, a communication issue?
I think there might be a communication issue. He's pointing to his mic and talking to the players, and
there's an issue with the assistant referee on this near side. I think the assistant referee's disappeared and the fourth official is holding the flag. That's why we've just got a hold up here, and this is a real shame because the way this game has started, it has been played at a great tempo. It's been end to end. We've just seen a brilliant save made. This is the last thing you want. I mean, the fourth official standing down there has got a smile on his face. Tony Harrington, assistant referee, re-emerges. He's smiling. It's not what the spectators needed at this moment, really.
No, fans are laughing about it as well. The linesman's come back out, taking his flag, and gets back in the position. But you know, concentration level from Spurs have to be high. They've not been great with dealing with set plays all season, and with the height advantage that Everton have with O'Brien in that side as well, they're just overloading that area around the goalkeeper.
Corner will eventually be swung. Oh, and now what? Darren England's seen something else. And this game that started so brilliantly has seen Jesper Lindstrom, who's just gone close with the shot, stand in that corner over the ball for about 2 minutes here. You've had, Darren England, the length it's taken one of your assistants to, I presume, go for a wee, to sort out all the argy-bargy in the 6 yards area.
It's Jake O'Brien has just been a nuisance. He's standing right in front of Kinski, and Spencer's trying to get him out.
Lindstrom will swing it in, headed away to the edge of the area. Can Mangala get on the end of it? No. Gay will play it back forwards though. Is that going to be offside against Tarkovsky? Assistant referee says no offside and says that it will be an Everton throw, but this time Everton have a man down inside the D, so we're going to have another break in play here. So just to recap the early scores, goalless here at Goodison, Everton and Tottenham. Brighton leading at Old Trafford in our 5 Live commentary by 1 Minte goal to 0, and over on the BBC Sport website and app, it's goalless after 10 minutes at the City Ground between Nottingham Forest and Southampton. Earlier in the Championship, Leeds going back top, beating Sheffield Wednesday by 3 goals to 0. The man who was down was Jake O'Brien. He's back on his feet. He's made his way to this near side, and he's going to take this latest Everton throw level with the edge of the Spurs area. Moves it forwards down the right. Lindstrom gives chase. Can't get there. Ball rolls behind for a goal kick. Kinski, this is his 4th Spurs game. He's kept 2 clean sheets in the 3 that he's played so far, all in different competitions, in the League Cup, the FA Cup and the Premier League. It's a tough job to come into a side as a goalkeeper when there's been so much disruption in that position. You've joined mid-season. I tell you what, he started today absolutely superbly.
Yeah, great save. And I think for a goalkeeper like Anthony to get that first one off in a match like this, where there's a lot at stake, both these teams are desperate to climb up that table. Tottenham, you know, you think with the squad they have, they should be further up, and Kinsey coming into a team that, you know, they give up chances to teams, so he's going to be a busy man.
Bergvall gives it away, and Lindstrom will break again down the right. Ball forwards. Calvert-Lewin tries to move into the area. Ball cleared. Everton with a shot. Blocked. Spurs will clear again, and just for a second you thought it was going to fall kindly for Everton. Instead, here comes Spurs on the counter with Kulusevski. Son overlapping down the left, 25 yards from the byline. He's forced to check and go back to Spence on the halfway line. Now Bergvall, whose goal separates the 2 teams in the League Cup semi-final, Spurs and Liverpool. Second leg to come in a couple of weeks. And Spurs, all of a sudden, the momentum's gone out of that counter, and they have it amongst their back 4, or back 3, as it is today. Ben Davies playing to the left of it, Dragusin in the centre, and then Archie Gray on the right at the moment. Maddison has the ball on the edge of the centre circle. Tottenham, 5 Premier League games without a win, 4 of those defeats, including both of the 2 that they've played in 2025. A miserable start to the calendar year for them, miserable end to the last one too. But then League Cup semi-finals, FA Cup 4th round, 9th in the Europa League. If you don't look at the Premier League table, they're fine. Yeah,
the only thing is when you look at that League Cup semi-final, you have to go away to Liverpool at Anfield in the second leg. So with a 1-0 slender win, and with Tottenham not exactly the team you would say are brilliant at keeping clean sheets at the moment, I wouldn't say that the most advantageous position to be in. Listen, they're in the lead. They're already got 1 goal, but that's not something you're going away thinking that's done and dusted.
Well, I mean, at least they'll know the way. This is the perfect rehearsal when it comes to transport for that second leg. Everton have won it back inside the Spurs half. Here's Idrissa Gueye, 25 yards out. Through ball, Calvert-Lewin, great chance, 1-0! Brilliant finish by Calvert-Lewin. Spurs gave the ball away. It was played through by Idrissa Gueye. Calvert-Lewin took it on the turn. Side foot shot, bottom corner. Kinski never moved. And Everton's great start is rewarded with a goal after 12 minutes. Everton 1, Tottenham 0.
It's great beat from Calvert-Lewin. Works it really well. It's a really congested, tight area. 3 or 4 Tottenham players around him. No one lays a glove on him. No one gets a block in. And he just slots into that bottom corner. When he receives, I think this chance is going to go by. There's too many players around there, but no one seems to want to make a challenge. He works it really well, good feet, and he just finds the bottom corner from close range. Kinski has no chance to get into it. It's a really well taken goal from Calvert-Lewin.
Brilliant move. It was poor from Spurs to start the move off, but then Gueye got it inside left, 25 yards out. Right foot, left foot, right foot from Dominic Calvert-Lewin as he took it on the turn. Kinski fooled by the finish. Calvert-Lewin does him with his eyes. Side foot, bottom corner, tidy goal. Everton lead 1-0. The first goal under the second spell of the management of David Moyes. And he looks the calmest person inside Goodison with his hands in his pockets, standing to the right of halfway on this near side.
Yeah, you look at Tottenham, all 3 centre-backs are in his vicinity of Calvert-Lewin. All 3 of them get done for the first chop, and then when he brings it back inside, it's under his feet, but he places it really well. Tottenham will be so disappointed to have that many players in around there and not one of them gets something on it, but Calvert-Lewin will be delighted to get that goal and get it finished, especially under the new manager Moyes.
First goal in 17 Premier League appearances for Dominic Calvert-Lewin, only his 3rd of the season. He's off and running today, big goal, and you could hear the relief and the roar around Goodison here. The Everton faithful loved that as Spurs come looking to reply straight away with Kulusevski down the right. Good defending. Ball goes out for a Tottenham throw 16 yards from the corner flag. While that goal was going in here, one went in at the City ground. In our commentary on the BBC Sport website and app, Forest against Southampton, you won't be surprised to hear Forest lead. Anderson with the goal after 11 minutes there. Nottingham Forest 1, Southampton 0. As we mentioned a few moments ago, Andy Reid and Charlie Slater with the commentary on the website and the app this afternoon. Good strong Irish contingent of summarisers today. Stephen Kelly alongside me here.
The Gaelic dictionary will be out for some people to understand this, but no, it's I'm just watching everything here. The difference that goal has made, the fans around the place, the atmosphere, but now they're pressing, they're getting Tottenham when there's so much pressure, similar to what led to the goal, but they just look like there's a confidence, there's a step about them which you haven't really seen for a while.
Ball out for an Everton throw in their right back area. They've won, Everton, one of their last 24 games against Spurs in the Premier League, and that was away back in September 2020 at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. They won 1-0 that day. Who was the goal scorer? Dominic Calvert-Lewin, whose goal after 12 minutes separates the two teams here. O'Brien for Everton in the right back area, plays it forwards. That was a strong challenge on Lindstrom. Referee said it was a fair one though. Spurs come forwards with Son down the centre. Ball to the right. Spurs with the man over here. Shot's going to come in from Pedro Porro, dealt with by Everton. Headed away the second ball by Tarkowski. Bergvall tries to win it back with his head in the midfield, but here come Everton on the counter with Illiman and Jai, and then that's another good challenge by Bergvall, this time with his feet, seconds after he'd made one with his head to put the ball out for an Everton throw. He's having a good game.
He is having a good game. It's fair, it's got a bit feisty. Wonderful challenge from Ben Davies, comes flying in on Lindstrom, wins it. That's what sets Tottenham off on that attack. Porro, I think he tries the shot, but he should really try and fade it in. I think Kulusevski's made a great run to the far post.
Long ball forwards by Everton, and Calvert-Lewin's in behind here. He's onside. Centre halves get back in a hurry. He might go alone here, although support's arriving from Jesper Lindstrom. Ball across the face of goal, just cleared away by Spurs. Bergvall picks up the pieces. Offside flag eventually goes up. The roar around here is because Everton thought they had a throw in level with the edge of the penalty area. Late flag from the assistant on this near side.
Listen, we could talk about this for so long, but as soon as Calvert-Lewin touches the ball, the flag should just go up and give him offside. It was quite obvious from here that he'd made a run really early, but then the phase of play goes on for almost 2 phases before they stop it.
So Everton leading 1-0 against Tottenham here on 5 Sports Extra from the BBC. 17 minutes played. Is there going to be an Everton throw? Yes, it is. David Moyes on the scene. He would have gone absolutely spare at the assistant referee, just looking at his reaction, had that throw in not gone the way of his team. With that goal going in here, it means all 3 2 o'clock games have got early goals in them, all live across the BBC Sport and 5 Live network. Brighton 1-up at Manchester United on 5 Live. Spurs go long here. Son's in behind. Left side of the area. Son. Oh, he took too long. Son took too long. That allowed Tarkowski to track back, get out of nowhere and clear the danger. Son took an age to get his shot away as he moved into the area left side. It looked like Pickford was going to be called upon there, but instead Tarkowski was able to track back.
It's just simple play. Davies gets his head up, Son makes a really good run, stays onside and behind Tarkowski on O'Brien, but then when he goes through, it's so not like him. He's so comfortable with both feet. You expect him to pull that trigger and test Pickford, but he just waits, dawdles a little bit and gives Tarkowski the chance to come back in. But it is a wonderful recovery challenge.
Or the 2 o'clock game, still 1-0 Forest and Southampton, by the way, as Spurs go long again. They're liking this long ball down the centre idea from their back 3, because this time, seconds after Son was played in, they nearly played in Maddison. This time, Everton go long down the right. Lindstrom will give chase. Davis goes in with the challenge. Everton with a throw. About 16 yards from the corner flag on this near side, which is the Everton right. Everton, in the opening 19 minutes here this afternoon, have been absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, been excellent. Defensively look good. They've looked a couple of times, like you said, the balls over the top. I think they're quite a flat back 4, so they haven't adjusted to their shape.
Pickford goes long this time, looking for Decore, who's playing on the shoulder of the last defender, does well to win a header and guide it to Lindstrom. Now O'Brien, now Mangala, Lindstrom again, edge of the area, low cross goes in, needs to be dealt with, back to Lindstrom, chests it down, Mangala, good football this by Everton early on. O'Brien, the makeshift right back, we'll call him that for the time being because Stephen Kelly's not convinced he should have been there. Done all right so far. We'll bring Stephen in again in just a second. Tarkovsky forwards, comes off the head of Njai. Mikalenko will do well to keep that in, but Spurs can't take any chances in their right back area. They will clear up towards Dejan Kulusevski facing his own goal. Spurs will go back to Kinski, who clears long and high down the centre of the field, gobbled up in the air by Branthwaite, only as far as Bergvall, and now Sarr. And Spurs just try and string a few passes together here to just try and get into this game, which has been dominated by the home team so far. Everton leading 1-0. And yeah, for a makeshift right back, O'Brien not doing too bad so far.
He's done okay, he really has. I think he's looked steady. I don't think he's going to offer like bursting, overlapping runs. He's holding his position, he's doing well. Like I said, he's going to be a threat from set plays. It's not a natural position for him, but he's dealt with it quite well. It's just as communication between him and the centre back, when to drop, when to hold, when to go out and press that winger, that all comes with time. But he's a makeshift right back who plays centre back in his first ever Premier League start for Everton. You know, it's tough enough when you play in your natural position, never mind if you're asked to play somewhere different.
The ooze, because Dragusin just played a very dangerous ball across the back three, got away with it though, and now here comes Spurs into the Everton area. Jed Spence with a low cross, sliding challenge in by that man O'Brien, puts the ball behind for the second Spurs corner of this first half.
Yeah, he works his feet really well there. Spence gets in on the left hand side and he just needs to dink this in, but O'Brien recovers, puts in a really good block, puts it out for a corner.
To be taken by Son again. Gladys Street end, two-tiered, those big, thick iron pillars obscuring the view of a few. It's a view that, like today, when it's full, will be so missed after this season ends. Son with the in-swinger, with Spurs trailing 1-0 here on 5 Sports Extra. It's deep towards the back post. Pickford clumps, flies, claws it away with his right hand before Dragusin could get his head on it. Ball just about goes out over on the far side. Spurs throw taken quickly. And now they go back to the centre circle to Davis. Good game this. It's one of those where you can't take your eyes off the actual match in front of you just for a second. Nice 1-2. Involving Jed Spence, who gets the shot away, blocked by Everton. Pieces are going to be picked up in the midfield by Bergvall, heads it to the right. Kulusevski's out there, ball to the right to Pedro Porro. He's got two to try and contend with as the cross goes in, blocked. It's another corner. So many times when you're doing a game, you're able to talk about other things that are going on and digress a little bit. This is one of those where you daren't look down.
No, you don't want to take your eye off the game, and it's been so fast paced. Again, that great bit of play by Jed Spence, and it's starting off again. Kulusevski's taking a short corner now.
Short corner, it's back with Pedro Porro, ball out to the right. Spurs looking dangerous here. Pedro Porro will take over once more, and now Maddison, and now Spence, who's dead centre. He's got Decore chasing after him. Through the middle it goes. Davis chests it on. Branthwaite with the clearance, and now Everton, can they come on the counter? No, because Decore's just going to run out of space right in front of Ange Postecoglou.
It is. Actually, if that ball stays in, Tottenham are in trouble because they only have Spence back and he's the one that's played the pass.
Spurs go long this time down the left, headed away by Everton. Ball goes for an Everton throw. Tottenham unbeaten in their last 11 Premier League games here at Goodison Park. 3 wins and 8 draws. Mentioned earlier on, this is the most drawn fixture in the history of Premier League, or in the history of the Premier League. Not at the moment. Everton lead as we just go past the midway point of the first half. Elsewhere, still Manchester United 0, Brighton 1-5 live. Forest leading Southampton 1-0. Here comes Spurs. Ball pulled back, Son. Good save, Pickford. Ball was rolled back to Son, edge of the area, about 16-17 yards out actually. Nobody around him. Side foot shot. It wasn't in the corner. Pickford low to his right, made the save and held onto it as well.
It's great play from Tottenham. Ball in between the lines down to Kulusevski, puts it back on a play for Son, and I think good save, but I'm really thinking a poor finish from a person like Heung-min Son, who from that area you expect to see the net bulge. It's a wonderful opportunity for Tottenham, and he should really cause more problems for Pickford. Son will be really disappointed that he hasn't scored there.
Well, I think the reaction that we've just seen on the replay monitor from Ange Postecoglou says it all. Just turned away with a very, very irritated look on his face there. That should have been 1-1.
You expect him to score from there. Anybody else that falling to, you give them half a chance. Son in that position, centre of the goal, the whole goal to aim for. You don't expect it to be such a tame effort and to not cause Pickford as many problems as he should.
I mean, I'm absolutely gutted because from a commentator's point of view, about 10 seconds after I just mentioned this is the most drawn fixture in the history of the Premier League, we could have been all level. Instead, Everton still leading Tottenham by 1-0. Just getting a look at the Spurs bench, which has got Richarlison on it. Everton go long, over the top. Calvert-Lewin in behind, and the ball just gets away from him. It just got away from him. Again, one long ball forwards from the back, completely undid the Spurs back three. Calvert-Lewin, who's got one for the afternoon already, looked like he was in. Second touch came off his knee, and that allowed Kinski to make the smother.
Yeah, you have to admit, it's really poor from Calvert-Lewin. Timing of the run was fantastic. Gets in behind Davies and Draggers in, and then first touch brings it down, puts him in position. Second touch, it's so heavy, and Kinski's brave, gets out, gets his hand to it, stops it. But Calvert-Lewin again, like Son before, will be kicking himself that he hasn't got a shot away or got something to play with, because that was a great opportunity.
As soon as Calvert-Lewin made a mess of that, as Mangala gets fouled inside the centre circle, as soon as Calvert-Lewin miscontrolled it, David Moyes reached into his right pocket, pulled out a notepad and wrote something down. I wouldn't like to guess what he's written down to describe that particular effort at ball control.
What would you write down after that? Poor touch, Calvert-Lewin, and the time he did it. It's very obvious what happened.
Here come Everton again, down the centre. Mangala, it's going to fall here for Calvert-Lewin. Back to Mangala with the effort. Oh, good save. Good save by Kinski to tip it onto the post. Ball goes back in. Calvert-Lewin again, straight down the throat of Kinski. Two good chances for Everton in the space of 10 seconds. Mangala with a curler towards the bottom corner. Kinski with the excellent save. Ball back in, and then the header from Calvert-Lewin was straight at the Spurs keeper, who's having an excellent game.
Everybody behind that goal thought that was in. Mangala just placed it at bottom corner. What a reactive save. Kinski gets down so well and tips it onto the post.
Seems like a second Everton goal is coming here. 5 Sports Extra. Everton 1, Tottenham 0. 26 on the clock. Jake O'Brien on the byline, can't keep hold of it. Spurs will come away with it. Spence in field to Maddison, who's back doing his bit defensively, and now Kulusevski's got space to move into. First time pass though to Son, left side of the penalty area. Good Spurs counter, couple of step overs. Son with a shot, good save. Pickford at his near post. Spin keeps the ball in play. Son still has it, goes down in the area. Darren England waves away, appeals for a penalty straight away. It did look soft. Everton will clear through Branthwaite, and now here come Everton. It's end to end. It's a great game, this. Ball in from the left from Calvert-Lewin looking for N'Shai. Spurs will clear, and now they will bring it away down their right. This is a joy to watch. Everton leading Spurs 1-0. Pedro Porro with the ball forwards, receives it back. Nice link-up play on the right. Kulusevski's over there, and eventually Spurs are forced to put a foot on the ball and just check for a second. Bergvall inside the centre circle. End-to-end at Goodison. Exactly what you want from a Premier League game of football. Jed Spence to Maddison. Been quiet so far in this game. Maddison, one of 3 Spurs players who starts this afternoon with 8 goals in all competitions. Their 2 top scorers, Solanke and Johnson, joining an ever-growing Tottenham Hotspur injury list. Sarr's got the ball in the Spurs midfield. Now Maddison, 25 yards out, dead centre, works the ball onto his right foot. Son keeps it moving to the right. Sold Pedro Porro short. Mikalenko intercepts and clears over halfway. Stephen Kelly.
It's so interesting. Everton gone from almost missing 2 great chances. Kinski keeping them in it. Now Tottenham are on top, playing some really good football. Just Son making a miss of that pass out to Porro, which would have put them in a good position. But it's so end to end. Both teams physically at the half time, you're going to be tired after this, because it's been so, the energy that's been both teams are expelling is unbelievable.
Right, that whistle which you just heard was for offside against Jed Spence, so we've got chance just to catch our breath and signpost what's going on elsewhere, because over on 5 Live, Manchester United are level, and it's Fernandes who scored from the penalty spot. Manchester United 1, Brighton 1. Alistair Bruce Ball with the commentary there. Forest still leading Southampton 1-0 on the website and the app. Anderson's goal is what separates the 2 teams. Here on Sports Extra, Everton 1, Tottenham 0 in what I think is the 40th game I've done this season, and it's certainly been the most lively one. And I did Everton 2, Bournemouth 3 here, which didn't really get going until the final 20 minutes. This has been absolutely brilliant from minute 1, and we're now into minute 30. Here's O'Brien, who receives the ball on the right on the halfway line. Must be wondering what's hit him with his first Premier League start, just his first appearance in the league, joined from Lyon in the summer, and he's been kept busy by that very, very fluid Spurs front three. That was a risk from Tarkowski, playing the ball across the Everton back four. Gasps, but here come Everton. It's paid off, and Jai, with space to move into, closes in on the area. Couple of step overs, and Jai 2-0! Brilliant individual run from Illiman and Jai, who runs away, slides on his knees, gets mobbed by his teammates. Everton are 2 up against Tottenham, and it's absolutely nothing less than what they deserve, because in the opening half hour at Goodison they've been superb, and Jai makes it Everton 2, Tottenham 0.
Yeah, it's a great goal from Jai. Again, Tottenham defensively really poor. As he steps in here, Dragonstein goes as if he's going to win it, but he drops off and allows Jai to get up ahead of speed, drives at him into the box, and at that point you can't touch him. Little step over, drops the shoulder, left foot, and fires into the roof of net. The pass to Kinski, you can't do anything about it, and it's been great up to this point. It's a wonderful finish, but Tottenham will be kicking themselves. If Dragonstein goes and engages him, someone else will come in and cover, but because he drops off, he allows him into the box, and you can't do that as a defender.
What a move. What an individual run. He ran from inside his own half, and Jai closed in on the penalty area in no time. Did drag a scene, couple of step overs, right foot, left foot bump into the roof of the net, shot rising as it went past Kinski, who's had a great game. If it wasn't for Kinski, it could be 3 or 4. Instead, half an hour played here on 5 Sports Extra, and it's Everton 2, Tottenham 0. Just as the ball hit the net here, another one hit the back of the net at the City Ground over on the website and the app. Callum Hudson-Odoi making it Forest 2, doomed Southampton 0. Here come Tottenham down the left. You do wonder, as the TV cameras pan to Ange Postecoglou, if he loses this, I mean, he's under pressure anyway. Is he going to get as far as the second leg of the League Cup semi-final? Huge pressure on the on the Tottenham manager.
The thing is, Tottenham have got previous for Saka managed before major cup games, was what they did with Jose Mourinho before the final. But listen, this is a crucial match for Tottenham, coming away from home to Everton. Listen, it's never easy coming to Goodison Park and getting a result, but you come here, you want to stay in the game, you want to stay solid, you want to come away with something. If they lose this game, and Everton have been better so far, that's going to just heap the pressure onto Postecoglou.
We've just seen, Stephen, there, just while you were talking, just how much Everton are dictating everything here. Bergvall thought he had a second or two in the midfield, and in no time he had Mangala and Doucouré in his face, and he very nearly lost it in a dangerous area. Everything that's happening in this game, the pace, the tempo, it's all being dictated by Everton. That said, here comes Spurs through the midfield with Maddison midway inside the Everton half. Ball out to the right to Pedro Porro. Infield, Kulusevski tried to let it run, did let it run, but Branthwaite was there to make the clearance, picked up by Sarr in the midfield. Now here's the aforementioned Bergvall, seen a lot of the ball so far in this game, only 18 years of age, summer signing from Sweden for £8.5 million. Spurs cutting in from the right. Is a shot going to be made available here for Bergvall? It is, but it's always rising over the crossbar into the Gladys Street. Everton leading Tottenham by 2-0.
Yeah, Kulusevski does well, driving in from the right hand side, and just sets out the Bergvall, a bit of pace on it, to do well to try and keep it down, but just tries to side for it into the far net. Always rising. Never going to test the goalkeeper, but Tottenham have looked dangerous at spells. It's just they can't get that final piece of the puzzle in the forward areas.
Brilliant atmosphere, as you always get at Goodison when Everton are playing like this, and here they come again, and Jai through to Calvert-Lewin, looking to make it 3. Archie Gray able to intercept and clear. Had he not stuck out his right boot there, Calvert-Lewin would have been through to make it 3-0. Instead, the ball goes out for a Spurs throw on their right, just along from the away section of Goodison Park, and looking at the fans, they are absolutely frozen. They do not know what has hit them in the opening 34 minutes here. Everton have been awesome.
Yeah. Calvert-Lewin has given Dragusin an absolute nightmare. He's just his running, his determination, the pressure he's putting under him, and then his running off the ball as well has been so clever. A couple of times they're cut offside, but he's always a tread in behind, which Tottenham haven't been able to deal with at all.
David Moyes having an impact straight away here. Just his second game in charge. Lost his first by 1-0 at home to Villa the other night, but they're leading 2-0 here. Ball deep inside the Spurs half, and again the Everton press is so obvious there for all to see. Spurs trying to play out from the back, and they cannot do it because they're not being allowed.
No, Everton are pressing, but then also when Tottenham play it forward to Son or Kulusevski, and it's a fight ball. Brantway and Tarkowski are coming out on top, where it's the other way around, and it's a fight ball into Calvert-Lewin, and Dragusin or Davies or Archie Gray. Calvert-Lewin's coming out on top. He's given them the opportunity to get that second ball when Everton, because he's not letting them clear our lines properly.
Everton with the ball inside their own half. They'd lost their last 3 in the Premier League in a row before today without scoring a goal, and they've got 2 this afternoon inside the opening half hour. 2 goals that were really well taken, one after 12 minutes from Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Nice through ball to him from Idrissa Gueye, took it on the turn, side foot shot, did the keeper with his eyes into the bottom corner, and then that was a great solo run from Iliman Ndiaye from inside his own half for the second goal, took it into the area, left foot shot, on the climb the ball as it went past Kinski. 2-0, and that is how things stand here. Kinski's made a couple of great saves, tipping one onto the post. In truth, 2-0 flatters Spurs.
Yeah, it does. They said the 2 saves, the one onto the post is a brilliant one from Mangala. The reaction gets down, but he has to get down so low so quickly and tips it out, and then there's a header where Calvert-Lewin has after that, which is tame. Should probably do better. You think about the ball over the top, Calvert-Lewin's gone through on goal, one big touch lets him away with it, and then in the other end Tottenham have a couple of chances. Son has had one amazing one that he should really score from, so it's been end to end, but Everton have definitely been the better side.
Still 1-1 Manchester United and Brighton over on 5 Live. Nottingham Forest 2, Southampton 0. Commentary from the City Ground on the website and the app. Here on Sports Extra, it's the place to be because this is an absolute cracker. Archie Gray moving forwards down the right, looking to try and get one back for Spurs. Everton though again on him in a flash. Ball goes back. That's a foul, surely by Kulusevski. Yes, says the assistant referee on the far side, and it will be an Everton free kick in their left back area with... Who is that who's gone down there? Is it Idrissa Gueye? It is Idrissa Gueye who's gone down in the left back area. Just taking a few seconds just to get to his feet. Remember, 4:30 this afternoon, the 5 Live commentary. Manchester City, who threw away that lead at Brentford midweek. How are they going to respond when they go to Portman Road to face Ipswich? Mark Schwarzer and John Murray with the commentary. Here we have got 8 minutes to go until half time, with Everton leading this game by 2-0. As we were just saying, really good value for it. Could be a wider margin, this lead. Long ball forwards by Pickford. Calvert-Lewin with the flicked header. That's going to be a foul in the midfield, given against Mangala this time, right under the nose of referee Darren England. Foul on Maddison. Spurs with a free kick, and now Idrissa Gueye's gone down again. So we're going to get a break in play here. Just what are you making of what you've seen as we tick towards half-time, Stephen? We've just mentioned how great Everton have been. On the flip side, Spurs can point to the injury list, of course they can. Werner, Johnson, Basuma, Solanke, amongst many, many others. But surely they have to deal with all of that better than this. Yeah,
100%. And you can see the manager, he's tried to change. He's gone to a back 3. He's thinking, how do I cope with it? And to be honest, the lack of communication between the 3 defenders is really evident. Calvert-Lewin is causing them so many problems, and you think of Everton, you think of how they've struggled over the last few seasons, and you feel if Calvert-Lewin was fit and playing like he is today, they would have been nowhere near the position they've been in over the last few years, because he's such a threat. He's so dangerous. He's winning so many of the first balls, first contacts, allowing Everton to come to the pitch, get players running off him. The problem is he's not being fit. He's not being able to play sustained games. Even when he's not scoring goals, though, he's so dangerous, and he's causing so many problems to Dragusin, just taking them out of position. Everton have looked very good. For the shape has been good. They've come up the pitch. at times they've got caught at the back. You can tell the back four, unknown to them a little bit, Son in behind, Kulusevski in behind, a couple of really good chances for Tottenham. But for the most part, they've played really well, Everton. You feel like their confidence has grown as the game gone on. The crowd has got behind them. Moyes back is going to have a massive effect on that. And yeah, they've done really well. Deserved winners are deserved to be in the lead at the moment.
Idris Gueye back on his feet, but hobbling with the Everton physio as he makes his way to this near side. Everton bench has got 2 goalkeepers on it today, Joao Virginia and Asmir Begovic. Then Nathan Patterson, Michael Keane, Jack Harrison, Beto, Ashley Young, Harrison Armstrong, Martin Sharif. The others, Idris Gueye looks like he's going to try and give it a go for now as he waits to re-enter the field, but still looks to be in some discomfort. Everton temporarily down to 10 as the game restarts. Spurs move down the left. Calvert-Lewin picks up the pieces, very nearly takes out the referee, moves it to the left, and the ball's going to be picked up by Njai inside his own half. That might not sound threatening, but he scored the last time he did this. Ball forwards to Calvert-Lewin, tries to take it in his stride, can't, because that's a foul by Bergvall, and I'd be surprised, Stephen Kelly, if that's not a yellow card.
Yeah, not a yellow card, but also absolutely brilliant from Calvert-Lewin. We were singing his praise earlier about what he offers. He's got back in front, he's like 5-6 yards in front of his own box, winning the ball back, plays it wide into the space for Njai, and then just opens his legs up, goes on a run on the outside to give that overlapping run. Ball gets plays into him, wins it first to Herzenberg, wins the foul. Wonderful forward play, brilliant.
The look on Bergvall's face when he turned around and saw the yellow card from Darren England was just, what, me? Really? Name me somebody else who's just made the day's most obvious foul when somebody was bearing down on goal. Yes, you, Lucas. It was a nailed on yellow card, my friend. Everton with a free kick wide on the left, just past the midway point of the Spurs half. Just under 5 minutes to go until half time. Everton leading 2-0. Mikalenko getting ready to swing this one in. Hit in with pace. Hooked away by Pedro Porro as he faced his own goal. Idris Gueye back on the pitch, moving okay. Keen to see if he re-emerges for the second half. Got it at the moment. Was instrumental with the assist for the Calvert-Lewin opening goal. Everton work the ball to their right to Lindstrom. He's got O'Brien wide of him. Takes it to the edge of the area here, O'Brien. Doesn't want to cross the ball himself. Instead gives it to Lindstrom. Thought he was offside. Flag stays down. O'Brien, that's a good ball. But this time the offside flag does go up against Mangala. So it's going to be a Spurs free kick in their left back area, which they look to take quickly. Too quickly for the liking of the officials. So elsewhere, 5 minutes to go until half time in all of the 2 o'clock games in the Premier League, all 3 of them. Everton 2 up here, Manchester United 1, Brighton 1 over on 5 Live, Forest 2, Southampton 0 over on the BBC Sport website and app. Spurs down the right, forward ball looking for the run of Archie Gray, was never going to keep that ball in play, and that kind of lazy, hopeful ball forwards kind of sums up Spurs for much of this first half.
Yeah, they've had moments where they look good in the forward area, where they got into their groove, but for the most part they've just looked like a team devoid of confidence, really. And again, Calvert-Lewin catches Dragons in here with his arm up.
And that's going to be a yellow card this time for Dominic Calvert-Lewin, who committed that foul on Dragusin. This time it's hard to say whether that's harsh or not until we've seen a bit of a replay, but Dragusin's going to need some treatment, so we're going to have another break in play as we tick towards the half-time interval. Dragusin's gone down holding his face. Didn't seem to be a lot in that. Here comes the replay for us now. Both jump for it, and he's just caught him with his trailing left arm. Yeah,
he gets across him, he gets up. Calvert-Lewin gets up really early, gets his arm out, and Dragusin almost jumps into the back of his elbow. I know that sounds not the best way, but that's kind of what's happened. He's not come across him, he's not swung it back. The big centre-back's taken one in the face. He needs to get up now, though. He needs to show, I can take that, I can deal with it. I can't be. He's got a cut there. You can see across his eye now. Maybe it's a bit more than we thought.
Tottenham's women have won in the WSL by 1-0 at home to Leicester in the early kick-off in the WSL. Own goal was what separated the two teams there, and Arsenal are currently leading Crystal Palace 1-0 in the WSL as well. Williamson's goal after 6 is what separates the two teams there. In the Championship earlier, Leeds went back to the top of the table as they beat Sheffield Wednesday by 3-0. Solomon, Ramazani and Tanaka getting the 3 goals at Elland Road. And speaking of 3 goals, we now have 3 at the City Ground in one of the Premier League's 2 o'clock kickoffs. Wood on the score sheet once again, adding to goals from Anderson and Hudson-Odoi to make it the brilliant Nottingham Forest 3, the doomed Southampton 0. I've got that game next week, Southampton-Newcastle. When I was there a few weeks ago, it ended 5-0 to Brentford, and that was harsh on Brentford. They're toast, Southampton, aren't they?
Oh, I think they were gone before Christmas. Forest are absolutely flying. You would expect them to win at home today against a Southampton team of just, again, devoid of confidence. But Forest are just continuing on with this unbelievable form. Wood is the scoring sensation he's been this season. But you look at Dragusin, I think maybe it's a little bit harsh on him, maybe telling him to get up. I think he's got a cut across the eye here, which they're going to have to patch up because, like I said, Tottenham are down to few and far between defenders at already patched up defence, and he's going to have to try and get on with this, where it looks like he might need a stitch or something potentially because he's bleeding.
That's what the hold up is for here. Dragusin is flat out. He's moving. He's just lying down just while he receives treatment. Interesting what we've just seen from the TV cameras though here at Goodison, just while they are panning away, just while Dragusin receives treatment. It's just showed a photo of a very, very annoyed looking Ange Postecoglou, understandably, with his side having lost 4 of their last 5 in the Premier League coming into today and trailing 2-0 here this afternoon. It then panned to one other person and he's the only other person who looks more annoyed than Big Ange, and that is Daniel Levy, who's sitting just along from Thomas Tuchel in the director's box down below us. Thomas Tuchel, the England manager, taking in this game today. 7 minutes of added time have just been indicated at the end of the first 45 here. We're going to have a few more too because Dragusin continues to receive treatment. So Thomas Tuchel here, great, but I think the story from the camera angles we've just seen, penny for your thoughts, Daniel Levy. Yeah,
it was very good camera work to get Ange Postecoglou in his demeanour, the way he stands. He's staunch, he looks angry, he looks frustrated, and then it just panned up to Daniel Levy, who again looks very similar. But is he angry at the manager or is he angry at the players? That's the question, isn't it? What's going to be the decision he has to make? And Tottenham are just, Ange is walking this. It's tough because as a Tottenham fan, as an ex-Tottenham player, I get excited when I watch them play at times. Not excited today. Everton are being stronger, being more physical, being more demanding, won the second ball. It's just being the better side. And Tottenham need to get to those levels. But when they're in full flow, they can be so exciting and they can beat anybody. The days have been few and far between this season, though, and that's been an issue. And is he under pressure? Is he getting a lot from the board? Who knows?
Peter Reid is also here today, sitting just along from Thomas Tuchel, chewing furiously, Peter Reid at the moment, on a piece of gum with a lovely looking hat on his head. He's happy with his team's work so far this afternoon. Dragusin is back on his feet. It was either a stitch or it was the magic glue above his right eye that's just been applied.
Glue and, lots of Vaseline to get on there, so if you get a knock or a thing, and he's going to slide across. But yeah, he's definitely taking a decent bang.
I mean, I wouldn't recommend stopping inside the centre circle.
No.
I'd come off the field before you change your shirt, otherwise you're going to have about 35,000 very angry Evertonians baying for your blood.
Well, he has to come off the pitch. They stopped for a head injury, absolutely rightly so. They've patched him up, not got long to half time now, and they just have to get him back on. But he struggled throughout the game, and this knock, hopefully, maybe this might spark him to want to fight back and get at Calvert-Lewin, because Calvert-Lewin has been dominating him all game so far.
We're back underway. As soon as he stopped Dragusin inside the centre circle to change his shirt, David Moyes was straight over to the assistant referee on this near side with his hands in his pockets, looking freezing. I think he was just like, come on pal, can we not get on with it here? Absolutely Baltic this afternoon, let's get him off the field. They have got him off the field, and that is where he stays for the time being, Dragusin, while he changes into a new shirt. His teammates have the ball in front of him. Bergvall moves over the halfway line, down the Spurs left, ball in field to Sarr. Pedro Porro overlapping down the right, takes it to the edge of the area. Kulusevski ahead of him, but he goes back to Pap Sarr, right side of the midfield. Now it's Kulusevski. Dragusin's back on, the magic glue above his eye. Here's Spence Spurs just trying to find a way back into this game. Dying seconds in the first halves elsewhere. United 1, Brighton 1 on 5 Live, Forest 3, Southampton 0 on the website and the app. Everton have won the ball back. They have it midway inside the Spurs half. Forced to go back a little bit to Idris Gueye. Ball back out to the left though, and Jai, the scorer of the Everton second goal. They lose it this time, and Spurs will come away with it down the centre. 18-year-old Lucas Bergvall with that bright blonde hair moves it to his right. Archie Gray playing as part of a back three today. And the atmosphere, for the first time, given how lengthy that stoppage was, for the first time the atmosphere's just gone a little bit quiet inside Goodison Park, because for the most part, if you have just switched on, you've missed an absolute cracker of a first half. Goodison Park has been rocking like it hasn't for quite some time, given the way Everton have played. They've got 2 goals, they lead 2-0.
But they've been physical, they've been in Tottenham's faces, they've caused them so many problems. Balls over the top.
Will break off because Spurs have won it back here. Spence to Davis. Davis with a low ball to the edge of the area. Cut out by Everton. Cleared up towards Calvert-Lewin. Nice flick in field. Now can Everton come on the counter once again here? Decore's forced to go back, but they keep the ball well. Branthwaite's got plenty of space with Mikalenko making a run to his left. Picks him out. Mikalenko with the ball in field too, and Jai, he checks. Everton will be patient with their build-up. Mangala, that was a short layoff. Very nearly played Son in, but Everton, here they come. O'Brien down the right, closing in on the Spurs penalty area. He's got Lindstrom wide of him, picks him out. In field to Idris Gueye. We're into the 5th of the 7 minutes added on. I think there'll be a couple more, and eventually that patient Everton build-up pays off because Lindstrom gets fouled by a frustrated looking Spence. Lindstrom springs to his feet like somebody who's competing on gladiators. It was something he's enjoyed doing, and it's going to be an Everton free kick.
Yeah, I think what Everton though they've done really well. They've gone to wide areas. At times though, they've got bodies in the box. They've been dominant in the air, and they've turned down really good opportunities to cross balls in. And I think it's the forwards are a little bit frustrated that when it comes into the wide area, Lindstrom, O'Brien, Gay, when he gets out here, they don't just opt to try and whip that ball in, because they have caused an issue for Tottenham defensively when balls have been in the air.
Is there a third for Everton before the referee blows for half-time? I'd say that's about 3.5 minutes away. The half-time whistle. Darren England blows so that the free kick can be swung in here. Lindstrom, it's a good delivery, it's a diving header, good save by Kinski, and the rebound is put behind for an Everton corner. Great delivery that from Lindstrom. Great pace, great placement, and it was a diving header from Tarkowski, which was clawed away for a corner.
It's a sensational ball in, exactly what you wanted as an attacking player, whipped in behind the Tottenham defence who have a high line, and Tarkowski, to be fair, he gets down low, he heads it on target, and it's a really good reaction shape from Kinski.
It was a low header when he made contact with it. The ball was nearly on the ground. He got the momentum behind him, made contact. Kinski saved it with his left knee. Lindstrom with the corner, and away swinger from the right. In it goes, headed away by Spurs. It's another Everton chance that's gone begging though. They'll be wondering how they're not leading by more than 2 goals. Lindstrom back down the right, running at 2 Spurs players, one of which is Pedro Porro, who's come across the field to make the block and turn it behind for yet another Everton corner. Everton ending this first half exactly the same way that they started it. And Lindstrom again stands over the ball. How many blue shirts has he got to aim for in the centre here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, with 2 standing on the edge. Those being Mangala and Idris Gueye. Low ball towards the near post this time. Poor delivery from Lindstrom. First thing he's really done wrong all day though. Receives the ball back. That's a better cross from the right towards the back post. Headed across, goal and in! And Dominic Calvert-Lewin helped it on. It's gone in off a Spurs player, and Everton are 3-0 up before half-time here at Goodison Park. Spurs go from bad to worse to disastrous. Everton with an afternoon to remember. Everton 3, Tottenham 0.
It's a capitulation. I spoke just moments ago saying how poor Tottenham have been with dealing with the balls in the box, those crosses high into the air. They've really struggled with it. This one again, flown into the far post. And I think as Tarkowski gets up, just knocks it back into a really dangerous area. Gray standing there, can't work his feet, hits him and ends up in the back of the net. Tottenham have just been really poor defensively. They've struggled all afternoon with these crosses. Calvert-Lewin gets a little flick, comes off Gray, ends up in the back of the net, and they've just not dealt with any balls in the area whatsoever. Everton 3-0 up, and Tottenham are struggling.
It was Tarkowski with the header at the back post, exactly as we called it. It was helped on by Calvert-Lewin, and then Archie Gray put it through the back of his own net. It's Everton 3, Tottenham 0. Tarkowski's header across goal, helped on by Calvert-Lewin, and in it went Archie Gray. You just look at the face.
But the thing is, you look at the ball in, right, which comes back to far post. Yes, Tarkowski's in a good position, gets up well, heads it back down. But then what happens afterwards? Calvert-Lewin is standing there, has a free header. He actually doesn't connect with it properly, glances it down, and it's Gray, Draggers in, and I think Davies is in there standing still. The ball comes off, but no one is going to engage Calvert-Lewin to win that second phase of ball. Tottenham have just been outplayed. They've been outfought. They've physically, Everton have bullied them all over the pitch, and Tottenham are 3-0 down, and they don't deserve to be in this game.
Archie Gray's face just basically smacked of someone of, when you looks down. He was massively unlucky there, and there we just see another camera shot of an angry looking Daniel Levy sitting just down beneath us here, surrounded by so many happy Evertonians. They cannot believe the afternoon that they're having here. You wondered how things were going to turn, if things were going to turn after that narrow defeat at home to Villa midweek, losing 1-0. They could not have expected today to go any better across the course of 90 minutes, let alone be 3-0 up in first half stoppage time. Everton 3, Tottenham 0. Half-time, Manchester United 1, Brighton 1, and Forest 3, Southampton 0. Spurs come forwards here, trying to get one back. 10th minute of added time at the end of the first half as Spence helps it on. Tarkowski will read the situation. Clear away down the right. Referee Darren England looks at his watch. Everton fans look on from this main stand. They have enjoyed every single kick in this first half, and Spurs now, is it damage limitations already? A big half-time team talk needed from Ange Postecoglou. Kulusevski moves into the area. Everton defend well, and there is the half-time whistle at the end of 45 plus minutes to remember for David Moyes' team. Every single Everton supporter is on their feet because they've been absolutely brilliant. Listen to this. We've not heard noise at all at Goodison Park for the last couple of months, let alone noise like that. They were 1 up after 13. Dominic Calvert-Lewin, low shot, bottom corner, great through ball from Idrissa Gueye. It was 2 on the half hour, and Jai running from his own half into the area, left foot shot into the roof of the net, and then an own goal from Archie Gray 7 minutes into first half stoppage time. Stephen Kelly, what have we just seen? Everton lead 3-0.
Well, if you want to have a chance to sing, you might as well sing if you're 3-0 up at home with David Moyes back in the seat against Tottenham, who have just been, they've just looked weak. They've looked, they have no fight about them. They look like it looks like men against boys. That's what it really looks like. I'm not talking about quality in the ball, I'm not talking about passing, I'm just talking about physically putting yourself about the pitch. Everything have gone out, they've been aggressive, they've been full of running, they've been full of energy, they've been determined, they've won the second balls, they've just done the hard things, and they've been a better side. Tottenham, on the other hand, haven't defended well, lost the ball in the forward areas, missed a couple of chances, but I think defensively they look so soft, and they have to get it. And Postecoglou will be a hairdryer in there at half time. Absolute hairdryer treatment. There's no one that's coming away from this with anything at the moment, and they have to come out and make a much better go of themselves second half.
We don't want to put any additional pressure on anybody, but it's safe to say that is the kind of performance and scoreline that gets anybody the sack.
Yeah, 100%. And if the players are performing like that for you, then the questions come, has he lost change? I'm not saying that's what's happened, but it's such a poor performance with Tottenham. They look devoid of confidence. They look like a team that's rattled. They conceded the first goal, and they just look like their shoulders went down, their body language is poor, and everything just grew in confidence. And it's just physical. They've not done anything really, really amazing. They've just put themselves about a lot more than Tottenham. Fought harder, worked harder, been physical, and Tottenham haven't been able to deal with it whatsoever.
We will be back with commentary of a massive second half here at Goodison for Tottenham Hotspur. We're going to join the team at 5 Live for the next few minutes, though. As I say, we will be back shortly at the end of the first half. Listen to this for a scoreline: Everton 3, Tottenham 0.
The Champions League, right here on BBC Radio 5 Live on Tuesday at 5:45.
Monaco versus Aston Villa.
And at 8.
Liverpool versus Lille.
Shalanar begins his run up, left footed, sends the goalkeeper the wrong way.
And on Wednesday at 8.
PSG versus Manchester City.
And watch highlights of every single match with Match of the Day, Wednesday night on BBC iPlayer.
The Champions League. Listen live. Ask your smart speaker to
Play BBC Radio 5 Live.
Yeah, I really admire their efforts, Steve. It's Rangers 1, Fraserburgh 0 after 42 minutes. The goal in the 27th minute from Cyril Dessers, his 14th of the season, a header into the bottom corner from James Tavernier's corner kick. Since then, Yefte, the Brazilian left back for Rangers, has hit the foot of the post, and James Tavernier, the captain, has hit the top of the bar from outside the box. But on 40 minutes, Ibrox held its breath as Mason Munn, the Rangers goalkeeper making his first team debut, aged 18, gifted possession to Scott Barber, the Fraserburgh striker, just inside the box, and his shot went narrowly wide of the post. So it's still Rangers 1, Fraserburgh 0.
In the other game in the Scottish Cup this afternoon, finished Falkirk 1, Wraith Rovers 2 after extra time. That one was an all-championship tie. In the Women's Super League, it finished earlier Spurs 1, Leicester 0. In the next minute, we'll be underway in West Ham Chelsea. Sahel Sahi.
Yeah, West Ham have never beaten Chelsea in 12 attempts during the WSL era, and if they manage to upset the form book this afternoon, it would not only give them some breathing space in a 5-team relegation battle, it would also ignite life into the title race. Chelsea's pre-Christmas performances have set a red-hot pace, and Manchester City and Arsenal, they need help to stop the Chelsea juggernaut.
Yeah, Arsenal leading Crystal Palace by 1-0 at the moment at half-time. That would take Arsenal above Manchester City into second place, but still 4 points behind Chelsea. Chelsea have a game in hand. Palace, the league's bottom team, just one win from their 10 matches so far, a point below Leicester City. There's also the Manchester Derby at 6:45. Let's go back to the Masters Snooker final. Jamie Broughton.
And we're watching the 2015 champion Shaun Murphy take on the current world champion Kyren Wilson. And it was Murphy who made a fast start. He took the opening two frames with breaks of 94 and 47, the highlight. Wilson then claimed the next with a 69 break to reduce the arrears to 2-1, and he also then had a great chance to take frame 4, but he missed the red while on a break of 61, and Murphy stepped in to win it on the black with a brilliant break of 61 to lead 3-1. Murphy has just won frame 5 as well to go 4-1 up. Wilson is back at the table in this frame 6. He needs to take it to stay in touch. 10 is the target to be crowned Masters champion.
Let's hear from the British number 1 tennis player, Jack Draper, who's out of the Australian Open. He had to retire with a hip injury during his 4th round match against Carlos Alcaraz.
Yeah, obviously really difficult, especially in such a big match against Carlos on one of the biggest stages in the sport. It's been been a long week for me. I've had a lot of on-court time, and I've put my body through so much, considering sort of not much preparation and managing a hip injury. And I think it was just a little bit too much today, and I have to make smart decisions moving forward if I want to be able to keep consistently playing on the tour this year.
That's Jack Draper. That means there are no British players, men or women, left in the singles draw. Alcaraz will face Novak Djokovic in the quarterfinals. The 4th round continues overnight. Commentary on 5 Sports Extra tomorrow with tennis breakfast from 7 a.m. Iga Swiatek and Alex de Minaur amongst those in action. In golf, England's Tyrrell Hatton edged out New Zealand's Daniel Hillier to win the Dubai Desert Classic by 1 shot. Hatton finishing 15 under par at the end of the tournament. Second halves about to get underway across 5 Live, 5 Sports Extra and the BBC Sport website. Once we're done with the 2 o'clock kickoffs, we'll take you to Portman Road, 4:30. Ipswich Town against Manchester City. And Ali Bruce Ball has been telling us, John Murray, how much you're excited to be back at Portman Road.
I am. I haven't been for years, and it's lovely to see the place. It's changed quite dramatically. Well, some parts of it have changed quite dramatically, and yet other parts are very, very familiar. And they've now given us an absolutely superb commentary position, possibly the best that we have in the Premier League. So no excuses today.
No, co-commentator's not bad. Mark Schwarzer alongside John Murray. Hi, Mark.
Hello, how are you?
Very good, thank you. It is a great ground, Portman Road, and okay, it doesn't necessarily apply to Manchester City at home, but I suppose the reality is for Ipswich, if they're going to stay up, they are going to have to start picking up more wins. Just one there this season.
Yeah, very much so. They were obviously buoyed by the result and the performance against Chelsea when they won 2-0 here. I was here on Thursday against Brighton, and they were very, very disappointing, I must say. They really did not push Brighton enough. They had some chances, but not enough, and didn't create enough, didn't put enough pressure on them, and they're going to have to be on their game today because Man City, as we know, they have unbelievable quality. Yes, they're not in the best of form. However, They've got to be up for it, and this has to become a fortress for Ipswich if they have any chance of staying in the Premier League.
Yeah, you know what it's like to compete at all ends of a Premier League table, really. It's about how you follow things up. That's why that Brighton performance was so disappointing, because their last home game was the win over Chelsea before that.
Yeah, very much. And then also they had a really good performance away from home, 2-2 against Fulham. They won the FA Cup game. So they were on a bit of a momentum, and I think that is also really key when you're in a sort of a precarious position, about building those little runs. Now they've got to take stock again. They've got to go, right, okay, let's restart. We've got a big game against Manchester City, and now we've got to make sure that we get something out of this game. Be difficult to beat. I thought they were just too easy to beat against Brighton on Thursday night.
Couple of good centre-forward stories for you this afternoon, John. Not just Liam Delap against his old club, but Erling Haaland for the first time since that contract and that letter.
Yes, that's right. They've put Liam Delap on the front page of the programme for this match, so I guess the hope will be that inspires him against his old club. And Haaland, remember, right at the start of the season, Manchester City's first home match of the season, Ipswich were the visitors. They took an early lead through Smodix, which turned out to be the only attempt that they had on goal. And who scored a hat-trick in that match? Erling Haaland. However, a lot of water's passed under the bridge since then, hasn't it?
Quite. Thank you very much, John and Mark Schwartz, your commentary team at Portman Road. Full commentary at 4:30. Ipswich versus Manchester City here on 5 Live. Half-time whistle has gone at Ibrox. Rangers 1, 5th tier Fraserburgh 0. So really, really good effort from the Highland League side in that first half. Second half's about to get underway. So 5 Sports Extra for Everton 3, Tottenham 0. At half-time. BBC Sport website and at Nottingham Forest 3, Southampton 0 at the break. Here on 5 Live, Manchester United and Brighton. The ball is on the centre spot, and Dion Dublin's with Ali Bruceport.
Thank you, Steve. Yes, grey day at Old Trafford. Slight mist in the air. We haven't got rain. It feels like it's warmed up a little since first arrived here this morning. Lots of members of the coaching staff and backroom teams and substitutes are slowly making their way back down the touchline here. But the game has kicked off. You heard the whistle from referee Peter Banks. Manchester United 1, Brighton 1. Manchester United playing towards the Stretford end in this second half. Red shirts, white shorts, black socks with the red tops against Brighton in the blue and white vertical stripes. We've got a game of head tennis going on at the moment around the halfway line. Eventually Mitoma steps in and places a pass back to Van Hecker. Veltman on the right for Brighton. Dallo gets a foot on the ball forward, but Joao Pedro quickly finds Minte. Welbeck involved. Back to Ayari. Didn't even look there, Ayari. He knew Estupiñán was going to be out there on the left-hand side. Back to Ayari in central midfield in his bright orange boots. Plays it back to Dunk. And Brighton happy just to keep it for now. Start of the second half as the game settles back into a rhythm. Not a game, Dion Dublin. You know, a couple of goals in the first half, but neither team at their best, if I put it like that.
Yeah, I would agree. I would imagine that you could throw in there as well that both sides have defensively been okay as well, so that kind of puts a dampener on the flair that people are trying to portray on the grass in front of us.
Yeah, both played Thursday night. I've heard managers this weekend certainly talking about fatigue as well. Eddie Howe was talking about it with his Newcastle team beaten by Bournemouth yesterday. Here's Minte on the right trying to put a pass through the legs of Dallo. It does eventually get to Mitoma. Oh, that's a hit from Belieber, strikes Maguire, got his body in the way, and then the ball bounces loose and Onana comes rushing off his line to pick it up. That was a left-footed strike with real venom. First time 30 yards out, and actually Maguire, I think, is just recovering from the after effects of that, because that was hit hard.
Yeah, it was. Belieber literally just got his head down. He didn't even look at anything else apart from the ball. It was going on target. Lovely little layback onto the correct foot as well. Nice bit of care there. In fact, it's going well wide. Harry Maguire more or less deflected it on target.
Here's Mainu for Manchester United to 19-year-old Lenny Yoro. Big money signing in the summer, now starting more regularly, having recovered from injury for United. Bruno Fernandes wins a throw for the home team just by thumping the ball into the legs of Van Hecker. So Manchester United have a throw attacking position on the left. They've got Onana in goal, Delict, Maguire, Yoro as the back three from right to left. Mazraoui is the right wing back, Dallo on the left, Ugarte and Mainu in central midfield, Ahmad and Bruno Fernandes with Joshua Zirkzee as the centre forward. Here is Maguire, sweeping high pass from him to the right, bounces once, chested down by Mazraoui. Ahmad drops deep alongside him on the halfway line, turns away from Mitoma. Got two top dribblers against each other there. Ahmad has released the ball. Mainoo side foots a pass back to De Ligt, and Brighton have Verbruggen in goal. Veltman, Van Hecke, Duncan is Stupinian as their back four. Belieber in central midfield conceded the penalty, picked up a yellow card for that, and Ayari alongside him. Minte also got a yellow card, scored the goal for Brighton in the first half, picked up a yellow card late in the first half. So he and Matoma, the wingers, and Joao Pedro playing off Danny Welbeck. Here's Ahmad on the dribble into the penalty area, opening up from him, hit that well with his left foot. That's a good block by Dunk. Again, bravely just putting his body in the way. Centre half doing his job. Yoro is being chased furiously there by Joao Pedro. Dealt with it well, plays it to Maguire. Maguire comes gliding forward. Bruno Fernandes, what a pass that is. Pinpoint down the left-hand side, but the flag's up against Dalot. He's been caught offside.
Shouldn't be offside. You can see all the way along the line. Dalot's left wing, Bruno's put it past the defender and he's in. He should never be offside. Give yourself a yard so you can get in there. Dalot knows he's not even looking down the line. No. And you know what? It's a tight one. It's a tight one.
Free kick Brighton then from the offside. They're playing from left to right. Their travelling support is away to our right-hand side in the corner of the east stand. Veltman caught by Yoro. Bruno Fernandes can't believe that a free kick has been given
I think I think Yoro stands on his foot there. I think that's a correct decision by the referee. Yoro just a little bit messy with his challenge.
I just compliment you on your choice of confectionery as well, Dion. Those rhubarb and custard chewy sweets, they are absolutely...
They're not bad, are they?
Delicious,
yeah. I'm glad you like them. I knew, listen,
how did you know? Well, you didn't know, did you, that I love rhubarb? Because that would be my favourite sort of old-fashioned
really?
sweet. Oh, definitely, yeah. Yeah, you've done really well there.
What I do is I look to see how I'm working with, and I know that the standards that you know that you live up to. So I've gone out my way to get you some really nice sweets.
Love it.
If it was Deno, it was just a bowl of cola cubes.
Lewis Dunk on the ball for Brighton inside his own half. Match of the day 2 tonight for all the Premier League highlights, goals, reaction, 10:30 BBC One. In terms of audio form, the Premier League review on the Football Daily feed on the BBC Saturday.
Welcome back to Goodison. Thank you to Dion and to Ali. Commentary of Manchester United against Brighton continues over on 5 Live. Everton's players just making their way out of the tunnel here for the start of the second half. Contrast that with the Spurs players who have been out for about 3 minutes, Stephen Kelly, as has a very irritated Ange Postecoglou, who's done nothing but just stare in front of him. He's brought on Richarlison at half-time for Dragusin, so a bit of a reshuffle.
Yeah, Dragusin did take the knock before the half, which was delayed the game for so long with a club up the other, but he was getting absolutely bullied by Calvert-Lewin throughout the match. Tottenham gone back to a back four with Gray, Davies, Spence left back and Porro right back, and yeah, it's makeshift to say the least, but Tottenham have to show a bit more fight, a little bit more about them in the second half, otherwise Everton will run all over them.
So Spurs kicking from left to right as the second half starts. Everton attacking the Gladys Street, kicking from right to left. Everton 3, Tottenham 0. The other 2 o'clock kickoffs are 7 minutes ahead of us because we had 10 minutes of added time at the end of the first half here at Goodison because of that injury to Dragusin. As Spurs go long straight away, is there going to be a response? His message was clearly to the point, quite short, because they've been out for a long time, Spurs, that message from Ange Postecoglou. In goes the cross from the right from Kulusevski. Everton head it away. Mikalenko flicks it on. Spurs with a throw. Already more urgency about them straight away, probably with Big Ange's strong words still ringing firmly in their ears.
Oh, absolutely. You expect he's gone in there and, you know, really let them know what they needed to do. They need to improve. They need to be more aggressive. They need to get themselves into the game. And, you know, can Everton withstand this? The Tottenham expect to come at them at some point, but can Everton withstand and then counter-attack? Because Tottenham will leave themselves open.
Everton, no changes at half-time. Why would you? Leading 3-0 at home with one of the halves, if not the half, of the season from an Everton point of view. Spurs with Maddison, plays the 1-2, comes down the centre, Maddison, ball just got away from him. Tarkowski clears only as far as Spence, who beats Njai, carries it to the right. Pedro Porro forward, Sarr with the cross, blocked and defended by Everton. Bergvall first to the second ball. That's something we never said about Tottenham in the first half, first to any second ball. They lose it this time. Pedro Porro wide on the right. Mikalenko will clear for Everton from the left back area. Towering header won by Davison halfway, unfairly. Referee says he was climbing on Calvert-Lewin, and Everton will have a free kick. So Everton then with Pickford in goal. Jake O'Brien, James Tarkowski, Jared Branthwaite and Vitaly Mikalenko, the back four. The three in midfield are Mangala, Decore and Gay, and Jai wide left, Lindstrom wide right, Calvert-Lewin up top. A team, a shape that has worked perfectly.
Yeah, they have. They've gone out, they've done exactly what they've been physical, they've been demanding, they've worked hard, they've won the second balls, they've scored some good goals and created some good chances. Tottenham just haven't been able to lay a glove on them. The couple of good moments they've created, they missed those good opportunities, and then they've allowed them to just be dominated.
Things that caught my eye in the media room at half time, you could spot the members of staff who work for Spurs in there, because without wanting to make fun of the situation, they looked absolutely broken. The people speaking or representing Spurs, they weren't speaking to anybody at all. That caught my eye. And then being offered scouse pie is something that also caught my attention. Whenever I tell them I don't like scouse pie, they look at you like you've got about 4 heads. Just can't understand it.
Did you try it?
No, I went tried and tested steak. Always tried and tested steak. And now I'm sitting here wishing I hadn't, because I shouldn't eat pastry. And I can just feel it starting to repeat. So you might be doing a lot of their solo commentary in the second half. But steak over scouse every time. Just don't say it too loudly.
No, keep that between ourselves.
These parts. Right, Everton with the ball in midfield. He did well there, Idrissa Gueye, because he got Sarr and Richarlison ready to pounce if he miscontrolled the ball inside his own half, which he very nearly did. Now, long ball forwards by Everton. Calvert-Lewin with a flicked header, coming together with Davis. Free kick goes the way of Spurs. So they go with Kinski in goal. They brought on Richarlison, so a very attacking lineup, because they've still got Kulusevski, Son and Maddison up top. Gray, Davis, Spence and Pedro Porro at the back. Sarr and Bergvall in the midfield. I mean, I've given that lineup: forwards, defenders and then midfielders, but that is how they're lining up.
Yeah, they've kind of said it. They've gone to a back four with Bergvall sitting in front of that back two, Sarr and Maddison as the two kind of forward attacking midfield players, with Son left wing, Richarlison down the middle and Kulusevski on the right. So it's a bit more of how you expect Spurs to play when they have what's available to them, not what we saw in the first half of that back three, which was, unaccustomed to Ange.
Here come Spurs down the left with Jed Spence, stopped in his stride. Everton will clear. Everton have got somebody down in their right back area. I think that's Decore. As Everton go long down the other end. Calvert-Lewin in a battle with Davis. I was listening to the start of the first half with Alistair Bruce-Ball and Dion Dublin, 5 Live, Manchester United against Brighton. They were joking about pick and mix. There's no joking going on at Old Trafford now, because Brighton are back in front. Joao Pedro, as Spurs go long here, over the top looking for the run of Maddison. He's got Son in support. Maddison to the byline, left side of the area, gets a little bit of space. Good defending this by O'Brien, by the way. And now Idrissa Gueye gets back, and then back goes Lindstrom, draws the foul. Maddison was just left with nowhere to go, as Everton got back in their numbers and defended a very dangerous looking situation really well.
Yeah, it was a good ball over the top. Maddison makes a really clever run, but the ball just gets away from him, skids off the surface, so he has to try and bring it down. Then O'Brien gets back in and just stays up, good in his feet, doesn't dive in, doesn't allow Maddison the space to get the cross in, and eventually gets the numbers back in to protect it and win the free kick.
So Joao Pedro had given Brighton the lead at Old Trafford, but it's just been ruled out by VAR for a foul. So it's all going on over on 5 Live. Still 1-1 between Manchester United and Brighton on the BBC Sport website and app. Forest still cruising 3-0 at home to Southampton. Everton leading 3-0 here. You don't want to say cruising at this stage, just because you know how dangerous Tottenham can be with the players they've got on the field.
Yeah, I think it's weird, because Tottenham can be so dangerous, but they just haven't looked like that. They have, like I said, that Son chance is the one glaring what they have, but in the forward areas there's been a bit of a lack of creativity.
Foul by Davis. Everton free kick midway inside the Spurs half, just to the right of centre. Dominic Calvert-Lewin has stayed down. That's been quite the battle in the opening 6 minutes of the second half.
Yeah, Davies has come out and thought to himself, you know what, the first half we've let you get the run ups, get better, we need to actually get physically. He's going through the back of him there, but yeah, it's a contest that he has to let him know he's in a game. In the first half, Calvert-Lewin had the free run of it.
So it's going to be an Everton free kick just to the right of centre, and an opportunity to whip the ball into the Spurs penalty area for the first time, you have to say, in the second half. They've been just very relaxed. They've been happy to let Spurs have it, and in truth it's worked so far because they haven't got anywhere near, despite the amount of possession that they've had, Spurs, anywhere near Jordan Pickford. Free kick to be taken by Jesper Lindström.
Similar to what you had in the first half, where you whipped in a really wonderful ball that Tarkowski almost nodded in. Tottenham have that high line again.
Yeah, let's see what can come from this first real dangerous looking set piece of the second half. Lindström left hand into the air, and it goes flicked on by Calvert-Lewin, well wide of the target. Goal kick to be taken by Antonin Kidski. So they brought on Richarlison at half time, and you look at the other players on the bench, a lot of youngsters on there. They've got Reggie on there, but then it's new signing Yang Min Hyuk. You're looking at Will Yankshire, youngster, Mikey Moore, 17.
Yeah.
That is what Big Ange Postecoglou has got to deal with on his bench. He's got no strength and depth anymore, such is the state of the injury crisis at Tottenham.
Oh no, they are a hugely depleted squad, and arguably some of the most important players are missing. But you still think with what they have in the pitch, they can produce better than what they have done.
Spurs have lost it. Here come Everton looking for a fourth. And Njai down the left, into the area. Couple of step overs. And Njai with a low ball, cleared sideways by Tottenham, and then cleared further down the field up towards Richarlison, who's in a battle with Branthwaite. Defender sticks his boot in. Spurs will settle for a throw. Kulusevski happy to let it run. Was that a foul throw as he took that quickly? Fans thought so. Officials not interested. Spurs will have another one anyway, right in between the two managers. And that was a round of applause that time from Ange Postecoglou and his defenders as they tried to play out from the back. He was happy with something he saw there, and that's surely a foul, yes, on Richarlison. Free kick Tottenham on the halfway line. David Moyes standing next to Postecoglou, hands in his pockets. Second game back in charge. It could not be going any better. Free kick's going to get retaken because the ball was moving, according to referee Darren England.
Yeah, to be 3-0 up at half time against Tottenham, who, like I said, they can't cause you problems. Just Everton have dealt with them really well, and like I said, the fight and effort that they put in the second half is what's caused Tottenham the most problems.
Ball goes out for a throw-in again to Spurs on this near side. Just for a second it looked like Everton were going to be in on the counter-attack. If you look at one man who connects both clubs, Dele Alli, newsline concerning him this afternoon. Former Tottenham and Everton midfielder Dele Alli is set to team up with Cesc Fabregas and join Serie A side Como, pending a medical and his contract signing. He's been offered an initial 18-month contract with an option based on appearances for a further season. So a big move pending for Dele Alli there, one man who connects the two teams.
Yeah, huge for him. I think he's been there training for a couple of months now. Everton let him go, and he's someone who needs to restart his career. Listen, Tottenham fans will remember fondly of the Dele Alli that they saw. Everton didn't get to see that very, very often, but someone that you'd like to see back up playing at some sort of level because he's such a talent.
Everton win the ball back in the midfield, move it to Njai down the left, which is this near side as we look at things in this second half. Poor ball in field, gives it away. Spurs have it back with Sarr in the centre circle. Njai chasing after Sarr, though desperate to win the ball back. A little bit too desperate that time because he fouled Sarr. Everton fans didn't think so. Free kick goes the way of the visitors, which they take quickly, and that just sums Everton's performance up today. As soon as they lose it, they're in a race to get it back. It's interesting when you were summing up the first half and everything you said that you've been impressed by. It's been more than this, but in essence Everton have done the basics very, very well. Pressed, fought, battled, run, tracked back, took their chances.
They look like they wanted more, which is, it can be as simple as that. Which team is actually willing to run harder, fight longer, be more physical, get in the team's face? Everton have done all those things. It's everything you expect from the David Moyes side.
Ball from Spurs on their left into the area. Everton should clear and do, and now Gay's got space in the midfield. Brighton have just scored at Old Trafford. This one does stand. Manchester United 1, Brighton 2 over on 5 Live. Everton lose it on the halfway line. Spurs play the ball over the top. Sarr into the area right side. Good tracking back by Tarkowski. Makes the block. Spurs with a throw. And we've also got a goal at the City ground as well. Commentary of this one on the BBC Sport website and app. It's gone the way of Southampton. Bednarek has scored, but Southampton still trail at Forest by 3-1. So in the 2 o'clock kickoffs, Everton 3, Tottenham 0 here on Sports Extra. 5 Live, Manchester United 1, Brighton 2. Website and app, Forest 3, Southampton 1. 4:30, Mark Schwarzer and John Murray on 5 Live and the World Service and BBC Sounds with Ipswich against Manchester City. Spurs in the midfield here. Kulusevski to Richarlison. Sarr to the right. Maddison into the area. Leaves Mykolenko on his backside. Maddison with a low ball in. Comes off Branthwaite. Spurs with their first corner of the second half.
Yeah, Tottenham, they have been better in the second half. Maddison, I think Richarlison has definitely given them something up front. Just a bit of a physical presence to cause those two centre-backs problems, and then allow Maddison and Kulusevski to get into those forward areas a bit better.
Pedro Porro to take it from this near side. The Spurs right, an away swinger in front of the Sir Philip Carter Park stand. In it goes across the 6 yards line, headed over, came off an Everton player last, and it will be another Tottenham corner. If they're to salvage anything from this game, they need to get something in the next few minutes, because it's 57.5 on the clock and they are 3-0 down here at Goodison. Pedro Porro's delivery with more pace this time, headed away by Everton well. Can Calvert-Lewin get on the end of the loose ball? That was a strong challenge going in, and it's going to be an Everton free kick, unsurprisingly, because that was an absolute clattering on Njai.
Yeah, it is. Maddison is quite aggressive and now he goes for it. He gets up quite early, elbows up there. You see the replay if he comes across, catch him in the side of the face where Njai goes down quite heavily, and it's definitely a free kick out. But at least Tottenham are showing a little bit more fight about it.
I just mentioned Southampton had got one back at the City ground. Would you have backed them, Southampton, to have been able to manage some kind of fight back?
No.
Well, you're right, because they're 4-1 down now. Forest 4, Southampton 1 over on the website and the app. 4 minutes after Bednarek got one back, Milenkovic has made it. Forest 4, Southampton 1. 4 different Nottingham Forest goal scorers as well. Long ball from the back from Everton. Decore edge of the area. Layoff. It was a lazy looking layoff with the outside of his right boot. Didn't fall for a blue shirt, but Mangala's rescued it. And now here is Lindstrom down the right. Low ball in. Blocked by Spurs. Son will pick up the loose ball. Lindstrom trying to win it back, so to Mangala. Ball spins behind, and that will be a goal kick to Spurs, as much as the Gladys Street end may not be very happy with that decision.
Yeah, again, it's simple, just a ball over the top. Decore this time breaking forward, fights physical, lays it back. Lindstrom, though, when he gets into that position, though, that cross is not on the low one. He has to stand it up. They've got a lot of bodies in there. Calvert-Lewin at the far post as well was in a great position.
Spurs go long down their left this time. Richarlison gives chase. Ball goes out for a Spurs throw for Everton. They're next away at Brighton, then at home to Leicester. Then it's Bournemouth here in the FA Cup 4th round. And then it's the rearranged Merseyside derby, Wednesday the 12th of February, 7:30 kickoff. Updates of that one on 5 Live as Everton welcome Liverpool. So a busy and huge few weeks for David Moyes' team. Spurs on the attack here. Kulusevski, edge of the penalty area just to the left of centre. Couldn't get the ball from out of his feet. Everton clear. Calvert-Lewin gets there. He's been chased back, but he's done well because he's played the ball down the left. Here's Njai. He's got 2 in the centre. Njai, can he get a shot away here? He rolls it back. Mykolenko hits it over the crossbar into the Gladys Street.
Yeah, great break. Calvert-Lewin again, brilliant centre forward play, holds the ball up, turns, then releases Njai down the left hand side, breaks his neck to get in the box, but that run into the box just creates that bit of space at the edge for Mykolenko, who's pulled back to. He's leaning back the whole time and just fires over where everything looked dangerous on the counter there.
I get told quite often that I'm in danger of making too many smarmy comments. I've made one there that's come back to bite me. More on that in just a second. Here come Everton. Calvert-Lewin on the turn, hits it wide as Spurs tried to play out from the back. They were caught. It fell to Calvert-Lewin, right side of the penalty area, hit it on the turn with his left foot wide of the bottom corner.
Lindstrom just pounced. Poor play from Tottenham on the back, allow Everton to get on top. Ball comes into Carvalho. It's his first touch, lets him down a little bit. Instead of being able to take it and hit on his right foot, the ball is behind him. He has to spin, swivel and connect it with his left foot, and he fires it wide. But that first touch is on. He can get that shot away on his right foot.
The smarmy comment that I made about a Southampton fight back, it might still be on because that 4th Forest goal's been ruled out for offside, so it's still Forest 3, Southampton 1. Big game at both ends of the table, that one, although Southampton absolutely cut adrift, rock bottom. Ball goes out for a Spurs throw here in their right back area. We've just gone past the hour mark here on 5 Sports Extra from the BBC. Everton leading Tottenham by 3-0. 1 change made so far by Ange Postecoglou. He's not got too many options. Richarlison coming on for the injured Radu Dragusin at half time.
Here comes Spurs down their left with Son just over the halfway line. Support arrives from Spence. Everton, though, they're not giving Spurs a yard still. It was the story of the first half, and it's been the brilliant story of the second as well. Spurs have been better since the break. In truth, they couldn't have been much worse, but every time they get the ball, there are 2 or 3 blue shirts on them in a flash.
Yeah. Ngala, the Corey guy, every time the ball comes into this midfield area, there again, enjoy. They need to set that they've won balls, they've harassed, they've got the ball really quickly.
Given away by Maddison to Njai, and Njai gets fouled, and that is going to be an Everton free kick to the left of centre. It was clumsy, that one, from Bergvall, who's on a yellow, by the way. He needs to be really careful now, because with all these injuries, the last thing they want is one of their players getting suspended too. This is too far out for a shot from Everton now that it's been spotted up properly. It's about 30 yards from the byline, inside left, with Mikalenko and Lindstrom standing over it. This favours, a cross from either the right footer or the left footer, really.
Yeah, but the way Tottenham have dealt with these crosses, I think Mikalenko whipping in behind them would be a better option here. They've held such a high line, like I said, a couple of opportunities before. If you can get this right, you bounce it in between the goalkeeper and the on-rushing defenders, and it can go anywhere.
63 played. Everton looking to make it 4. Lindstrom with the delivery with pace over the top, straight behind, too much on that one, and Kinski goes in a hurry to retrieve the ball and get this game moving again as Spurs look to mount the most unlikely of fight backs here. But again, they go back to their goalkeeper Kinski. He gets put under pressure straight away from Decore with Calvert-Lewin standing just off. Spurs go long, Everton win it back on halfway. It's happened again and again and again. Here's Idrissa Gueye, ball out to the right to O'Brien. More to come on him in just a second with Stephen Kelly. O'Brien down the right. Lindstrom can't keep the ball in play. Probably not the best time to ask you about O'Brien, because he's just overhit a pass there. Yeah. But first Premier League start, playing at right back. How happy have you been?
Yeah, he's been comfortable. He hasn't really had that much to do testing wise in the one situation, his one-on-one mass, and he's worked his feet quite well, and I think he's just been very steady, hasn't he? Everton have, again, look at that press again from Gueye.
They're carrying on, playing out from the back as they go back to Kinski again. It nearly goes for a corner. Kinski has to work to prevent the corner from his own goal kick. They persist with this. It is not working. Will it work here? No, because Richarlison's ball to Maddison is 2 yards short, and now here come Everton looking to make Spurs pay. Well played, Njai in the midfield, making it stick, receives the ball back, dead centre, Njai 25 yards out, runs into Bergvall, who at 18, you have to say, I think has been Spurs' best player this afternoon. He's been superb, although he is walking a tightrope when it comes to a sending off. Ball switched from right to left. Son, midway inside the Everton half, beats his man, who was Lindstrom that time. His Spence dead centre. Ball to the right to Pedro Porro, edge of the area. What can Spurs do here? 65 played on 5 Sports Extra. Ball played back to Bergvall in the midfield. You feel like this game is one strong challenge away from boiling over as Spurs get more and more frustrated.
Yeah, there's a few players that are walking a tightrope. Like I said, Bergvall, I think, has been Tottenham's best player. He's not shied away from the fight. He's been in the game.
Spence gets the cross in. For a second, Lindstrom went to ground, and I thought he was going to take the player, made the block. Tottenham with their third corner of the second half, which they look to take quick and do over on the far side. Son plays the 1-2, pulls it back to Maddison, 22 yards out. Gueye straight in his face straight away. Spence is over there, wide on the Spurs left. Again, he has got Lindstrom biting at his feet. And from that corner comes nothing so far. Spence goes to ground, keeps on going, gets back on his feet, beats 2. That's going to be a penalty, is it? He was bulldozed down by Gueye. No penalty, emphatically waves Darren England. It looked like he took a nudge in the back there, Jed Spence, but there weren't that many strong appeals from the Spurs players, in all fairness. Now, here come Everton on the counter. Mikalenko, high ball forwards, chested down in the centre by Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Was that a foul? No, says the referee. Mangala wins it back, 22 yards out, tries the through ball, that gets blocked. Everton looking for a fourth here. Decore, 30 yards from goal to the right of centre. Strokes it back, Idrissa Gueye. And now it's Branthwaite who arrives on the scene, and all of a sudden this game midway through the second half has moved into the mode it was in for all of the first, end to end. Which way is the next goal going to go? Because you feel like there is at least one more.
It's hard to know. Tottenham have looked dangerous, but every time they've gone to forward area, it's just been Everton have just closed it down and cut the channels off, being physical, won the ball back, made the right decision in those areas, and Tottenham have too many times given the ball away and made poor decisions in the forward areas.
Yellow card given to Mangala for a foul in the midfield. So midway point of the second half here on 5 Sports Extra. Everton 3, Tottenham 0. Elsewhere over on 5 Live, Manchester United 1, Brighton 2. And on the website and the app, Forest 3, Southampton 1. You can have no arguments about that yellow card, Mangala, for that foul on Dejan Kulusevski.
Looks like they're getting Ashley Young ready to come on, I think.
He is getting stripped off just down below us, actually. Ashley Young, I mean, when you talk about experience, blimey, 39 years of age. Going to come on maybe to shore things up for Everton for the final 20. We'll wait and see. He's certainly getting a good, strong talking to from David Moyes and the coaching staff down beneath us as the ball goes back to Pickford, who, for as much as Everton have been under the cosh from Spurs in this second half, I don't think I've mentioned Pickford's name until now.
When you think about the saves he's had to make in the game, if he's had to make any, that one big chance that Son had, that's Pickford saved, which is a comfortable save for a goalkeeper of his stature, didn't even have to move that much to get across and save it, and that was Tottenham's best chance of the game. Up to that point, there was just passes and phases of play in and around the box that Tottenham have just given up, and Everton have just been able to defend, work hard, be physical, get the ball back, and yeah, they've just not been able to cause them problems at all.
Ashley Young is indeed now standing by. Fantastic career he's had. Manchester United, Aston Villa, amongst many others, as the ball's worked to the left by Spurs midway inside the Everton half. Spence again not able to beat Lindstrom. Goes in field to Bergvall. This game, unless Spurs can score soon, is absolutely over, and in truth many will say was at half time. Such was the quality of Everton in that first 45.
I'm not saying I'm not putting Tottenham on Southampton's level, but in that first half, did you have any real reason to believe that Tottenham could come back into this game from what they've shown?
Never. You were just wondering if there was going to be a response. There has been a bit of a response, but it didn't take much to respond to what we saw.
No, well, there has been a response. They've showed a little bit more about the shape has been better. I think the back four suits them. The midfield looks more organised. But everything are coming out second half 3-up, knowing they don't have to do that much, and they might be able to counter-attack.
Young on for Lindstrom then. Lindstrom's had a fantastic game on loan from Napoli. No goals so far this season, but I tell you what, he's put a couple of dangerous balls into the penalty area this afternoon. One which led to the carnage, which built up to the third Everton goal. So Lindstrom makes way, and Young comes on for the final 20 here on 5 Sports Extra with Everton 3 clear. Ball back with Pickford inside his own penalty area. And now Everton have it in the midfield. Nicely worked from left to right, and Young gets his first touch straight away, and he's got space to move into Ashley Young as he drives over halfway. O'Brien arrives in support. Can he get a first time low cross in? Not quite, because it was blocked that time by Spurs in the form of Jed Spence. Now Jed Spence is penned in by 2. The 2 win. O'Brien back to Decore. Look at this, absolutely superb from Everton as they get the cross in towards Calvert-Lewin. Ball headed away. Mikalenko being encouraged to shoot here from about 35 yards. Dribbles further forwards. Now, taking over is Idrissa Gueye. Applause for Lindstrom as he makes his way back to this near side. Low ball in. Calvert-Lewin tries to receive it on the turn. Worked for him in the first half. Doesn't work in the second. That's a foul on Spence. And that's going to be a Spurs free kick. Listen to this. For a scoreline, Manchester United 1, Brighton 3, over on 5 Live with Dion Dublin and Alistair Bruce Ball. Just when you think Manchester United have turned a corner, they take 1 step forward and about 3 back. But that is the commentary over on 5 Live. Manchester United 1, Brighton 3, with Ipswich Man City to come at 4:30. Spurs go long, over the top, looking for Richarlison. Heavy first touch, allows Pickford to come sliding out and make the smother.
Yeah, brings it down quite well. It's really tight though. He's leaning into Tarkowski, just urges him out of the way, and then Pickford that was really alert to that, to come out and smother with his hands.
Spurs getting ready to make a change down below us. I'm not quite sure what they can do. Mikey Moore maybe. They've got so many youngsters
on the bench. He's not got that many options. Ange Postecoglou, as the ball goes back to Pickford in the left back area on his left foot, long downfield. Calvert-Lewin would have made the flick there. Everton would have been through for a fourth. Lots of goals in the 2 o'clock kickoffs. 3 here, 4 at Old Trafford, 4 at the City Ground, maybe a fourth coming here at Goodison as well, as the ball's worked to Decore, into the area, tried to tee up Mikalenko. Spurs able to intercept. They want a fourth. You can feel the Everton fans in this main stand in the Gladys Street away to our left, behind that goal that Everton are attacking. They want a fourth just to put the icing on a very, very happy looking Evertonian cake. Spurs win it back in the midfield. Bergvall, 3-0, the home team lead. Maddison, he's got Pedro Porro making a run to his right, decides to look left instead and go back to Bergvall. Goes through the fixtures that Spurs have got coming up in the next few minutes. Spence sent it across. Richarlison was about to let fly. It's cleared, and then Maddison puts it over from inside the D. And those are the chances that you just think, if there's going to be any kind of comfort to be taken from this game for Spurs, they need to make the most of. They don't. It goes over, and Mikey Moore's now coming on to replace Pape Sarr.
Yeah, you think that's going to be Maddison dropping back a bit, Mikey Moore high, but Spence does really well down the left-hand side here. Goes past Young, opens his body up, pulls it back. Branthwaite gets a touch in it, which drops kindly out to Richard. I think it's Maddison, edge of the box, and Maddison, you expect him again, another player of his quality from there to hit the target at least, but the chance goes begging again.
So many games coming up for Spurs in the next 3 weeks in so many different competitions. 5:45 away at Hoffenheim in the Europa League on Thursday. Next Sunday at 2 they're at home to Leicester, a meeting of two teams in absolute dire straits. Then it's back to the Europa League at home to Elfsborg as Everton go long down the right. Decore gets on the end of this. He's got Njai in the centre. In goes the cross. Kinski makes a good claim. Spurs then away at Brentford, away at Liverpool in the EFL Cup, away at Villa in the FA Cup. Here comes Spurs, just concentrating on Everton for now, with Kulusevski in from the right, left foot curling shot, and Richarlison threw himself at it, tried to head it in. He's just turned to the referee and says there was a push. Nobody else thinks so. That's going to be an Everton goal kick, and it's another Spurs chance that goes begging.
It is. It's a great break. The pass from Bergvall out to Kulusevski on the right hand side here is wonderful to put him into the space, and then Kulusevski cuts back in, ball into a really dangerous area, and Richarlison just can't get his head on it. There's a little bit of a nudge, but not enough to give you a penalty.
10 out of 10 for effort. It looked fantastic from Richarlison. The only thing he didn't do was make contact with the ball. Had he done and it gone in, it would have looked brilliant. Ball forwards by Everton. Decore will give chase. It will be a goal kick. We've got 15 minutes to go. Everton leading here 3-0 and very, very close to having this game officially wrapped up.
Just before that though, when Everton went down the right hand side with Decore, and it was a long ball in the air, and it was Calvert-Lewin and Davies. You just felt like 100% Calvert-Lewin was going to win that ball. Decore didn't even hesitate to check his run. He just overlapped into space, knowing Calvert-Lewin was going to knock it down to him, and that's been the difference. Those 50-50 balls into the area, you just felt every time Everton were going to come out on top.
And that's been something he's been accused of not doing, actually, over the last year or two. Dominic Calvert-Lewin looking like he's going to win a first ball, second ball, whatever. Today, he's done everything. He's done everything you would expect from that kind of striker. Yeah, everything.
Absolutely. And you don't know whether is that because he's up against centre-backs that don't often play that position and can't deal with his physicality. If you see into Van Dijk or someone, does he come out on top of those situations? But today, every time it's gone in, you felt he was going to be the one that was going to win it.
Lots of reaction available to this game in lots of different places later, as well as here on 5 Live, the Football Daily podcast, available on the 5 Live Football Daily feed first thing tomorrow. Match of the day 2, of course, later on BBC One with Mark Chapman. Highlights of this one: Manchester United 1, Brighton 3, Forest 3, Southampton 1, and the Ipswich Man City game, which is still to come. BBC Sport website, BBC Sport app, reaction wherever you look to this game here, which boasts a big scoreline for Everton as they fight to stay in the Premier League. They started the day 16th. 3 big points, the reward for 3 big goals as things stand.
Spurs on halfway with Kulusevski. Ball down the right to Son. Through ball. Maddison down the right. Gets there ahead of Pickford. Pickford's been pulled off his line here. Ball inside the area. Mikey Moore with a shot. Gets blocked. Kulusevski over the top and in. And Tottenham have got one back. Pickford was drawn off his line by Maddison. It ping-ponged around. It fell for Kulusevski. And I tell you what, to lift that over 4 players, he made that look easier than it was. But in it goes. And with 14 minutes still to play, Tottenham have one back. Everton 3, Tottenham 1.
That is a sensational finish from Dejan Kulusevski. The calmness and just the delicateness of the touch. Maddison does so well on the outside, gets into position, chops back and forth. I actually think it's going to be a penalty. I think Pickford goes right through the back of Maddison and he pulls it back. But as this sets back to Kulusevski, there's a whole host of Everton bodies in the way, and this has to be absolute pinpoint perfection to get it over those bodies. You're talking 6'5" O'Brien, Tarkowski, all in the way. What a wonderful finish that is, and it gives a little bit of light at the end of the tunnel for Spurs, but I think it's too little too late.
It was 5 Everton defenders in there actually, and he didn't take a touch either, Kulusevski, as he ran onto it 16 yards out. He just ran onto it with his left foot, dinked it over them, pinpoint, touched the back of the net, in it goes. Nobody really knew what to do when that went in, including the Spurs fans opposite where we are, because it's been such a miserable afternoon for them. But it is something that gives them the faintest of light at the end of a very long, dark tunnel. Everton 3, Tottenham 1, here on 5 Sports Extra. As Everton play out from the back, Pickford sold Branthwaite short there. Branthwaite rescues the situation, but Maddison takes the ball on the halfway line off Dominic Calvert-Lewin. It will give Spurs a bit of confidence now, though.
It's funny how Everton have been the better team the whole game up to this point, and now there's a little bit of nervousness around, and that's just because of how Everton have been.
Kulusevski over the top, looking for Richarlison, headed away by Tarkowski. They need to stay alert here now, Everton. We've seen them collapse before. I mentioned the Bournemouth game earlier this season, 2 up with 2 to play and lost 3-2. They need to be careful. Branthwaite anywhere will do with that clearance. Long downfield is where it goes. Ball brought down by Gray, scorer of the own goal in the first half. Everton 3, Tottenham 1. Long ball down the left by Spurs. Cut out by O'Brien. Loose ball falls for Son. Edge of the area. He's got support arriving here. Mikey Moore with the cross. Headed up into the air by Branthwaite. Not really clear. Tarkowski brings it down. Young hoof towards the halfway line. And that hoof is exactly what was needed. Everton fans wanted a free kick because they thought Dominic Calvert-Lewin was being held. Darren England's not interested. Kulusevski, the Spurs goal scorer. Infield to Bergvall. All 3 2 o'clock kickoffs with a 3-1 score line, one way or the other. Spurs on the attack down the left. Spence is over there. Mikey Moore too, on as a substitute, the youngster. Nearly lose it in the midfield. Maddison does well to hold on to that. Made his senior debut only last May. Mikey Moore yet to score a senior goal. He had a shot in the build-up to that Kulusevski goal, which was blocked. But now we've got 10.5 minutes to go, and all of a sudden it's got a little bit quieter here at Goodison. The fans have had it all their own way all afternoon, and now this is the first kind of threat that they've faced. It's taken Tottenham ages, but here they come. Mikey Moore on the attack down the left. 17-year-old stopped by the 39-year-old Ashley Young. And look at the Spurs fans over on the far side as the ball goes behind for a corner. They're starting to believe, Stephen.
Yeah, they are. There has been a huge shift in the atmosphere here. Everything you think have been so good up to this point. 3-1 up, like comfortable, should be cruising now, seeing out this game, but Tottenham have got a little bit of a lift.
And Jai's gone down in the penalty area. Call me a cynic, but you wonder if his race is run or if he's just trying to waste a few seconds. Either way, and Jai is going to come off to be replaced by Nathan Patterson. That's tactical. They're trying to shore things up. Young gone and now Patterson.
Number 2, Nathan Patterson.
On he comes, and his first job, Nathan Patterson, is to defend this latest Tottenham corner. They're 4th of the second half.
You know what, if Tottenham were to nick another one here, it'd make a very interesting last 10 minutes of this game.
The comeback would be on. Son in front of the Spurs fans. Whips one in it goes, flicked on by Davis. It might fall for Kulusevski here at the back post. Cleared away by Everton. in the form of O'Brien out for a throw. Again, Spurs looking to take it in a hurry. Pedro Porro arrives on the scene and does just that. Bergvall, he goes back to Gray on the halfway line. 3-1 Everton lead. 3-1 Brighton lead on 5 Live at Old Trafford. 3-1 Forest lead at the City Ground on the website and the app against bottom club Southampton. Mikey Moore on the attack here for Spurs in front of the travelling Tottenham fans. They wanted a free kick. Nothing doing, say the officials, and it is going to be an Everton goal kick. Pickford looks up. I'm not quite sure who he was trying to give a rocket to, or if he was just having a general whinge, but he's not happy with something, is he, Jordan Pickford?
He never looks like he is, does he, to be honest? He's just trying to slow it down. He's trying to get everything, concentration levels back up, get them back into it. They're not going to play this short.
Look who's seen enough, just leaving just down beneath where we are here, being escorted out in his dark coloured baseball cap is the England boss Thomas Tuchel. Just made his way up the stairs and has gone into the gangway, literally about 2 yards away from where we're sitting. 82 gone. Thomas Tuchel's seen enough, and to be fair to the England boss, he's seen an absolute cracker here this afternoon, and it's not over yet either. The Spurs go long. That's a foul by Kulusevski, according to the assistant referee on Mikalenko. Just for a second, had that fallen kindly, Kulusevski could have been in.
Yeah, just a little nudge off the ball to put Mikalenko off. I don't think he needed to do as much. I think Mikalenko was favoured for it, so he felt like he had to do something to put him in. But yeah, it's better from Tottenham. I just don't know whether it's enough to actually get them back into this game.
Part of you is clearly thinking it might be enough, because every time a long ball goes forward by Spurs, you started to kick it for the first time this afternoon.
Yeah, oh no, it's interesting, isn't it? Because listen, I feel I'm watching them going, the first half let me down so much from what I expect and what you want from a Tottenham team.
Spurs just under a little bit of pressure here at the back. They win a free kick on the edge of their own penalty area, and no Stevens trying to kick every ball now for Spurs, because we're sitting so close together to try and stay warm, aren't we? I feel the nudge every time we move.
It's funny, you can take the man out of Spurs, but you can't take Spurs out, I suppose. But I was so disappointed in that first half and how they played, from the amount of times they allowed Everton to just get on top, to just be physical, to just not have that fight about them. The second half's been a better performance, and as a manager, I suppose you want your team to win the second half, and it looks like Tottenham might do that.
Kulusevski long in towards Maddison, tries the layup. Was that a foul by O'Brien? Jake O'Brien, no, says the referee, cleared downfield. Here comes Spurs again. Maddison slow getting to his feet, having a whinge at the assistant referee. Mikey Moore's on the attack though, into the penalty area left side. Couple of step overs, tries to pull it back. Richarlison, shot block, Richarlison again, straight at Pickford. Another chance goes begging. Another come on, what are you doing, comes out of the mouth of Jordan Pickford.
Yeah, Mikey Moore's looked lively on the left hand side. This one takes a deflection but drops out to Richarlison. He connects really well with on his left foot, gets a block, and then gets a second bite of the cherry, and this time it's a tame effort at Pickford.
And Everton will slowly bring it out from the back with Captain Tarkowski. Plays it to Mangala. Everton just trying to get a foot on the ball, because they've not been able to do that for the last 10 minutes or so. This time they go long to Calvert-Lewin, excellently chested down to Decore. He's got support to his right from Patterson if he decides to go that way. Didn't first time, does eventually. He goes back to O'Brien now. Mangala in the midfield. 5.5 minutes to go on 5 Sports Extra. Everton 3, Tottenham 1, but Tottenham, since getting that one, have been pushing for number 2, and they've been pushing for that goal relentlessly. Everton go long here, looking for Calvert-Lewin, gets in behind, beats Archie Gray. Kinski beats Calvert-Lewin to the loose ball just as he looked like he was going to kill the game, Calvert-Lewin, and make it 4. Spurs clear, will settle for a throw in their right back area. Will they? No, says the assistant referee. Ball's going to stay in play. Gray with some work to do. Does it go behind for a goal kick? No. And eventually it is an Everton throw. Great persistence that, because it looked dead twice.
Yeah, Ashley Young just not giving it up, getting in behind, chasing it down, kicks off Gray, ends up getting a throw in for a corner for his team, right in the corner flag. But Tottenham again, just Calvert-Lewin causing problems, not giving up on, just kind of fight balls, and he's such a thorn in the side for him all afternoon.
Spurs free kick, foul on Bergvall, taken quickly, and I tell you what, Richarlison and Moore, between the two of them, looked like they were going to be through on the counter. Referee said the free kick was taken too quickly, not once but twice. I tell you what, you can't decide if the comeback's on here. This will teach us. It's on at the City Ground. Southampton have got a second. 91st minute, Onuachu has made it Forest 3, Southampton 2, and they have got 12 minutes added on there over on the BBC Sport website and app. Forest were 3-0 up. It's now 3-2 with 10 minutes of added time still to play. That should be a cracker. Closing stages with Andy Reid and Charlie Slater on the website and the app. Everton really looking to shore things up here. They brought on Young, they brought on Patterson, and now they're getting ready to bring on the experienced Michael Keane. 32, 25 million he costs from Burnley 8 years ago now. Great servant to the football club. Being called on in their time of need here. Pedro Porro's ball forwards. Everton will head away, but it falls loosely. The second ball for Richarlison. Fans starting to get nervy all around us whenever a pass is misplaced around the penalty area. And from an Everton point of view, the passes that are being misplaced are becoming more and more frequent.
It's amazing, isn't it, to think that the nervousness that's coming around this place, and there's still 3-1 up, well, on the clock is only 4 minutes left. They should be feeling so comfortable.
Well, Jake O'Brien, his first Premier League start, it's come to an end with 3 minutes to go, to be replaced by Michael Keane. We mentioned him earlier, the Republic of Ireland man. How's he done?
Yeah, he's not really put a foot wrong. He's done everything he needed to do. He's been defensively solid, limited Tottenham, being physical in the game when he needed to be, made a couple of decent chances, a couple of decent blocks. I don't think he was ever going to be a marauding right back, because that's not his game, but he did what was asked of him. It should have been difficult circumstances, and Everton should see this through, and that would be a win in his first Premier League start, which you take.
We have got 2.5 minutes to go here, plus stoppage time. Everton leading Tottenham by 3-1. Tottenham, though, pushing for a second, which would set up the nervy finish that they've got at the City Ground, where it's 3-2, Forest leading bottom club Southampton. Now, here come Spurs down the left. Spence into the penalty area. He's got Maddison in support. Patterson should clear, but runs into traffic in the form of Maddison. Patterson beats one, draws the foul out of the second, who's Mikey Moore. Just what Everton needed. He's going to stay down to Patterson. That was rash from Mikey Moore.
Yeah, it was rash. Great run from Spence to get into the area. Just can't pick the final pass. And then everything cleared their lines.
The applause you can hear around us are for Jake O'Brien as he comes from behind the goal, makes his way along this near side. He's put in a shift this afternoon, no two ways about that. Good performance. Gets a handshake from David Moyes, some of the substitutes and all of the coaching staff. Free kick, Everton in their right back area as we approach the 90th minute here at Goodison Park. Pickford in no hurry to take this free kick. Hits it long, looking for Dominic Calvert-Lewin. It's flicked on. Is Decore going to go on the end of it? No, it's going to spin behind. Ooh, Everton wanted a corner. Goal kick is the outcome. It was given straight away by both the referee and his assistant.
Yeah, from where we're sitting, it looked like it was going to be a corner.
You could probably hear by the tone of my voice, I thought it was a corner. And I kind of felt for the assistant on that far side, who had the entire Gladys Street on his back. Still, we get underway and Spurs get moving very quickly. Still playing at the City Ground. Forest 3, Southampton 2. It looks over at Old Trafford on 5 Live. Manchester United 1, Brighton 3. 4:30 Ipswich against Manchester City. 30 seconds to go plus stoppage time here. It's been a cracker of an afternoon, this, it really has. First half more eventful than the second. First half, you daren't look away from the pitch. It was just one attack after the other, mainly from Everton, but Spurs gave as good as they got too. Just had their confidence drained away from them by being caught out. Here comes the fourth official now with his board. We've had a few stoppages. How long are Spurs going to have to find 2 goals here? They have 4 minutes only. 4 minutes. Everton have won one of their last 24 games against Spurs in the Premier League. That was at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. They're 4 minutes away from a rare win against Tottenham Hotspur. Goal kick to be taken by Pickford, wearing all green. Ange Postecoglou, arms folded, down below us on this near side. He's seen a better performance from his team in the second half, but defensively, it was an absolute mess in the first. Now, Decore for Everton, edge of the penalty area, ball on his right foot, no ball in. Bergvall will defend well. We mentioned him earlier, he's been excellent this afternoon. Lucas Bergvall, for somebody so young, it's his goal that separates the two teams, Spurs and Liverpool, after the first leg of that League Cup semi-final. He has tried his best to run that midfield area for Ange Postecoglou's team today. Here's Kulusevski, the Spurs goal scorer, still inside his own half.
It is interesting, isn't it, how Bergvall and Spence, who I think have played very well. Gray has struggled.
Spurs on the attack, Son 25 yards out, left side of the area now. Here's Mikey Moore running at Patterson, ball played in, deflects into the side netting, and it is a corner. For a second, the way they all ran away, I thought that had beaten Pickford at his near post. It is a corner, it's been taken quickly. Moore receives the ball, edge of the area left side, good cross goes in, all the way through and in! Did it get a touch? I'm not quite sure. Mikey Moore's ball over the top has gone all the way through, and we've got a grandstand finish with 2.5 minutes to go at Goodison. It's Everton 3, Tottenham 2.
It's a wonderful ball in. Tottenham take the corner really quickly. Mikey Moore, sensational cross into the far post, and Richarlison just steals in behind everybody. He's very brave because Pickford's coming flying out. And it's a wonderful finish. Near post, Pickford can't get to it, and it's going to stand. I don't think this is Vieira. Everton now have caused problems for themselves. This last minute of the game goes right across everybody. There's no way that should be getting to Richarlison at that far post. It's really poor defending.
But he got the touch that was needed, Richarlison. He got the faint touch at the back post, collided with the post in the process. Moore's ball in is a delight. Richarlison strokes it in, gets clattered by Pickford. We've got 2 minutes of stoppage time to go. It was Everton 3, Tottenham 0. It's now Everton 3, Tottenham 2 in what's been a quite incredible game here in Merseyside. And Everton have lost it. And now here comes Spence for Tottenham. He's away down the left. He checks, he moves inside. Goodison Park's home sections are silent. They're stunned here. This would be the most unlikely of unlikely comebacks. 90 seconds to go. Spurs stopped. Everton clear. Fans want their players to stop sitting in. They're sitting with a back six at the moment are Everton as Spurs come forwards again with that impressive youngster Mikey Moore. Davis forwards from the back to the byline. In goes the cross. Cleared away. Moore picks up the pieces once more. Running at Patterson. On his right foot, shuffles the ball back. Spence with the cross. In it goes. Kulusevski's waiting, headed away by Young. Here comes Pedro Porro, though, to help out Kulusevski. He's got 3 Everton players for company. Rolls the ball in field. Son with his back to goal. Nervous moments. Maddison with the shot. Ball goes up into the air. Pickford comes. Pickford takes a lot of pressure off his 6-man defence in the process.
Yeah. Takes the pressure off. Maddison's deflected shot just comes up into the air, and Pickford's going to take every second he can to slow this down, get them up the pitch. But for this to be such an nervy ending for Everton shouldn't be the case whatsoever.
It shouldn't be the case, and at the same time, if you're a Spurs supporter, you'll be thinking it shouldn't be the case for us to go 3-0 down before we really start having a go. Just depends which way you're going to twist it, I suppose, doesn't it, from a Spurs point of view, those supporters over on the far side. Mikey Moore loses it on halfway, fouls Dominic Calvert-Lewin, and that should be just about that. He was trying his best to get downfield. In the end, the youngster just tried a little bit too hard.
Yeah, he did. He was trying to get away from Patterson, who was all over him, and Moore has looked bright, but he just overruns it here into Calvert-Lewin, who wins it and then draws the foul as well, and this should be the end of it for Everton.
We've gone 30 seconds over the 4 minutes that we're added on. It's finished on 5 Live. Manchester United 1, Brighton 3. Still playing at Forest. Forest 3, Southampton 2. Here Everton 3, Tottenham 2. And there is the final whistle. Everton win for the first time since the return of David Moyes. They had to fight until the very end. They found themselves 3-0 up at half-time. What was an incredible half of football. It all got started off by Dominic Calvert-Lewin, side foot shot into the bottom corner. Iliman Ndiaye ran from inside his own half to finish brilliantly and make it 2 before an own goal from Archie Gray deep into first half stoppage time made it 3. Tottenham better after the break. Kulusevski got one back with 13 minutes to go. Richarlison got one back in stoppage time, but ultimately it was too little
too late. Spurs now 6 without a win in the Premier League. It's ended Stephen Kelly, Everton 3, Tottenham 2.
Yeah, Everton have come out deserved winners. Absolutely. The first half performance, they played well, they were physical, they dominated, they looked dangerous. Tottenham just weren't up for it. Better performance the second half from Spurs, but it was too little too late. They got those 2 goals and they made a game within the last 10-15 minutes, but Everton shouldn't have put themselves in a position where they were still fighting at this close towards the end of the match. Deserved win, and it just absolutely changes the landscape. Tottenham now losing this game away from home on a terrible run of form, and Everton looking to pick up some momentum with David Moyes at the helm.
How big is this for Everton? Because it was a big ask midweek to go up against Aston Villa and to try and get something in Moyes' first game in charge. This you looked at and thought it was a big ask, despite Spurs' poor form. The manner of the performance, the manner of the win is what has given all of these supporters here more belief than anything else.
Yeah, I think the way they played in the first half, particularly after 65-70 minutes, the amount of second balls they won, the amount of running, the yards they put in, physically, everything they did for the manager, and you could tell it was such a hard work fought, but they dominated Tottenham. They made it look easy at times to get in behind them. Moments of brilliance, and I think Calvert-Lewin being the pinnacle and the linchpin for most of what Everton did well. He was such a thorn in the side to the back 4 and back 3 of Tottenham. But I think Moyes would be delighted with the way they played at the start. He'd be disappointed that they gave up the chances they did in the second half, but something that Everton can absolutely build on.
And Postecoglou takes his players over to the away end. It's a mixed response from the Spurs fans over there. Some signs and banners being held up towards the Spurs players and staff. A few applauding, a few waving, actually, as if to say bye-bye. All of the Spurs players and staff have stayed well back, including Postecoglou, with the exception of James Maddison, who has gone close up to some of the supporters. He's just walking along, clapping his hands. It's too difficult to see from over here. I don't know if he's apologising or what. He's certainly engaging in dialogue, Maddison, over on the far side. Brave thing to do.
Yeah, it is. It'd be interesting to see what the cameras say on this, but the fans they're not happy. You can see some of them are giving an applause, but a lot of them are giving hand gestures, are saying things, are mouthing things. They're not happy with the performance in the first half. They're just not happy with how they applied themselves, because when you look at it, that's what Everton did. Everton just applied themselves better. They just went about it better. They did the basics things well in that first half, and Tottenham couldn't do it. They couldn't deal with the physicality that Everton posed, and I think from Tottenham fans, Tottenham will not be happy that that's what they did in the first half and causing those problems.
Everton stay 16th, Spurs stay 15th, but Everton now 4 points above the relegation places ahead of the 4:30 game over on 5 Live between Ipswich and Manchester City. Stephen, thank you for your company. Absolute pleasure. Great to see you again. It's ended here at Goodison Park then, as James Maddison makes his way to this near side. Everton 3, Tottenham Hotspur 2. More reaction to this game to come over on 5 Live, as well as on the Football Daily podcast, available